What up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Friday to all of you. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. A big thanks for making us a part of your start. If you're up and at it this morning, whether it's tuning in on those radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online, sportstalk1051.com. Using your Alexa devices to say, yo, Alexa, play WAYY video streams, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all up there too. However you're tuning in this morning, a big thanks for that. We've got a loaded up game plan for us this morning because it's Football Friday. Packers, Lions, just a couple days away from kickoff, from beginning the season. It's time to get back into our football groove. Keys to victory, predictions, key matchups, all that fun stuff that we normally do on a Football Friday. We're bringing it back here. So what do you got? What are your biggest keys to victory for a Packers win? Although we do have some Lions fans too. So if you are a Lions fan and you want to chime in on who you think or what you think is a key to victory for your team, hey, send it on over, okay? All right. We want to hear from both sides, both fan bases here this morning as we get set to begin the season. The NFL season officially kicking off last night with the Eagles taking down the Cowboys 24-20. But I will say, I mean, the first half was pretty entertaining, going back and forth. Defenses maybe settling down there in the second half and adjusting. Yeah, Jalen Carter getting ejected right away from the game for spitting on Dak Prescott, right? Weather delays and all that stuff. So I will say, though, Dallas, at least in the first half, offensively, impressed me. It was closer than I thought. So nice work, but still lost. That's the only thing that matters, I guess, at this point. But got another game tonight. We've got Chiefs and Chargers, but of course, we know Green Bay will kick off their season on Sunday at Lambeau, taking on the Detroit Lions. And maybe some good news yesterday, too. At practice, every Packer player practiced. That means Nate Hobbs practiced. Jaden Reed returned to practice. Everybody practiced for the Green Bay Packers. We'll find out if that continues today in the final tune-up for their matchup on Sunday. But gotta like that. Micah Parsons also probably making some more fans yesterday, talking to the media before the game, saying, I've never liked Detroit, never liked them, even when I was in Dallas. Trick plays are for people who can't beat you straight up. Calls them a scared tactic. Already coming at it. But the other quote here, too, for Micah Parsons. This was from Matt Schneidman. Quote, I've never been in a locker room with guys like this. I came in Tuesday for treatment and I saw almost every guy in the locker room. I said, this is the first time I have ever seen this. And that just shows how much these guys want to be here. They say it's because there's nothing else to do, but there's other things you could do. I think that's important. And when you're around guys like that, it makes it exciting to come to work. So early impressions from Micah Parsons towards his team seems to be thumbs up. Making good impressions there. Also from yesterday, the Packers locking up their punter, Daniel Whalen, to a 3-year deal. So you look at the offseason, Packers have been locking up some of their specialists. Matt Orzik, 3-year deal. Brandon McManus, a 3-year deal. Their punter, Daniel Whalen, with a 3-year deal. So locking up those guys for the future. So good to see the I think Daniel Whelan's going to be. He continues just to get better and better too. That dude's got a leg with some hang time, some serious hang time. I mean, we hope we don't have to use him a whole lot because, well, you're assuming then that means the offense is putting up some points and such. But whenever we've had to use him, more times than not, dude's been a weapon and flipping the field position. So, but plenty of Packers chats. If you have not sent me your predictions for the game yet, now is the time. All right, hit me up with a text, 715-830-1912 in that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or join us on the video streams too. All right. You can comment over there and join us over there as well. Give me your predictions. Give me your keys to victory, whether you are a Packers fan or a Lions fan. All right. So send those puppies on over. Also on the docket here, speaking of football, the Blue Gold football team picking up a win last night at Carson Park against Carroll College, 29-7. So nice start to the season for the Blue Gold football team. Stout will be in action tomorrow, taking on the University of Dubuque. We've got more local sports roundup with Brandon Berg, who'll be joining us a little bit later on. Third week of the high school football season also getting underway. So we'll touch on all that and more for our Carpet City Flooring Center local sports roundup. We got Badger football, got college football, also picking back up this weekend too. So do some picks with that. Badgers taking on Middle Tennessee before their next game against Alabama. So we'll talk a little college football. Brewers yesterday falling to the Phillies 2-0. It was a pitching duel up until the seventh when the Phillies were able to put up a run, and then another insurance one at the top of the ninth there. So Tobias Myers getting I guess credited or charged. That's the best way. Charged with the loss, but Freddie Peralta continuing his scoreless streak, MLB scoreless streak to 29 straight innings in single seasons over the last 125 years. Only 10 pitchers have strung together at least 5 consecutive scoreless starts of at least 5 innings. Bob Gibson, Don Drysdale, Oral Hershiser, Zach Greinke, Zach Gallen. Now, Freddie Peralta joins them too. So Freddie Peralta is on an awesome streak right here and just continues to impress this season. But the Brewers not able to pick up that win, not able to win this series against the Phillies. They still have won the season series because of their sweep earlier in the year. But the Brewers will be right back at it. They're traveling to Pennsylvania not to take on the Phillies again, but they'll be taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates for a 3-game series starting tonight. And as of right now, when we look at the remaining portion of the schedule here for the Brewers, the only team that they play that are currently in playoff spots or in a playoff position is the Padres at the back end of the year. So maybe this is an opportunity for the Brewers to stack up some more wins and increase that division lead, which is at 5.5 over the Cubs, and get closer to clinching that top spot in the National League. So we'll chat a little Brewers, and Pat Murphy, a little cryptic yesterday, but saying another relief pitcher is going to go on the injured list, and it sounds like it's an important one. It's a big one. Like somebody we know. He wouldn't say who it is. Said that the move will be announced, I'm assuming later on today. But Murph saying that it's a significant reliever, as Murph put it. It didn't happen yesterday. So whoever pitched yesterday or who maybe warmed up yesterday too in the bullpen, it's not one of those guys. So process of elimination, I'm wondering if it's Nick Mears, which would be a big loss for the Brewers bullpen. Not sure how significant of an injury it is, but dang. We'll find out, I guess, later on today. So, but also on the dockets here, we've got a little cream of the crop, bottom of the barrel. You can make your picks. Again, as always, text it, commenting on the video stream, hitting us up on social media and such. Make your picks of who's your cream of the crop and your bottom of the barrel. We'll do a little AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. We'll do some Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, coming up at the other side of the hour, just past the 7 o'clock hour. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the Packers injuries and such going forward. Christian McCaffrey, if you've got Christian McCaffrey on your fantasy list, you're probably, or your fantasy team, you're probably a little bit nervous right now because he was just added yesterday to the injury report with another calf injury. So you're probably holding your breath if you spent a high pick in your fantasy lineups with Christian McCaffrey. So yeah. Plus, big announcement coming up at 8:15. So 2 hours from now, you want to make sure you're tuning in for that. All right. Like I said, it's a football Friday. It's a TGIF. It's a fully loaded program, full menu, full game plan. Let's pitter patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We begin breaking it down. Packers, Lions, keys to victory, key matchups, your predictions. What you got? All right. What do you have for me? Start to give me your breakdowns. We'll take our first break and then get things rolling here this morning on the leadoff. Coming up after these quick words. Tailgating season is in full swing with baseball, football, high school, college, the pros, and it's also brat season too with that, right? So head on over to our good friends at Mike's Star Market on the west side of Eau Claire to get a bunch of different flavors of brats that you will never run out of flavors to try. Also, got snack sticks over there. Some of the Bloody Mary beef strips. Those are my favorite, absolute favorite. And with deer hunting season coming up right around the corner for bow season, don't forget you can take your deer in for professional venison processing. So go give our friends at Mike Star Market a quick visit and get some shopping done for some brats. Or again, with hunting season right around the corner, take your deer over there and get some meat processed. They're located on the west side of Eau Claire, 2238 Heimstead Road in Eau Claire. Football Friday. Happy Football Friday, everybody. Hopefully you're all donning the green and yellow of some sort of way on this Football Friday for the next, how many weeks? Hopefully over 20 when you count in postseason play and such. But it is a Football Friday. So let's get back to what we normally do on a Football Friday when we've got a Packer game to preview. Keys to victory, key matchups, all that fun stuff. Now, I've got a few keys to victory. We could come up probably with a 2-page double-spaced paper on what we think are some keys to victory for the Packers taking on the Lions here. So I narrowed it down. These are just a few that I have, both for the offense and on the defensive side of things here. So let's start off with the offense. Well, actually, let me rewind it here a little bit before we do the keys to victory and such. I do want to mention Packers practice yesterday. Maybe some good news with practice yesterday, because every Packer practice, every player at least was a limited or a full participant in practice. That includes Nate Hobbs. That includes Jaden Reed. They were listed as limited, but the fact that they were on the practice report, I think Thursday is a big day. We'll find out today too if they're able to do anything. If they are, maybe that bodes well for their chances to play Sunday against the Lions, and we can see, both sides of the ball at full strength. But nonetheless, good news. Micah Parsons also able to talk to the media yesterday a little bit. Love some of the comments from him. I'm sure it's going to fire up the Lions and probably fire up the Lions fan base listening to Micah Parsons. But saying yesterday, I've never liked Detroit. I've never liked them even when I was in Dallas. Also calls trick plays scared tactics. Trick plays are for people who can't beat you straight up. And I think, as Albert Breer posted too, he retweeted Matt Schneidman's tweet about this. And let me see if I can bring it up here really quick. But Micah Parsons talking about the kind of the closeness and maybe the leadership within that locker room, within this team for the Packers. So the quote was from Micah Parsons: "I've never been in a locker room with guys like this. I came in Tuesday for treatment and I saw almost every guy in the locker room. I said, this is the first time I have ever seen this. And that just shows you how much these guys want to be here. They say it's because there's nothing else to do, but there's other things you could do. I think that's important. And when you're around guys like that, it makes it exciting to come to work." Now, Albert Breer posted about that, who covers the NFL for Monday Morning Quarterback Sports Illustrated, saying part of the Packers' bet on Micah Parsons was that the young leadership on the defense was going to bring the best out of him. So I view this quote as significant. Again, that was from Albert Breer. So I think it's significant too, but seems like first impressions for both sides, Packers and for Micah Parsons on the Packers, thumbs up. Got to hear from some of the coordinators as well yesterday, as they got to chat it up with the media. Jeff Hafley obviously pumped about Micah Parsons being on the ball club. Said that he has a very high IQ, football IQ. When he was asked, how do you use Micah Parsons on the defense, saying, I'm not telling. But he did say his mind started to go, quote, 100 miles an hour, thinking of different ways that the Packers can be able to use him. So, but looking at keys to victory with this game coming up against Detroit, let's start on the offensive side of things for the Packers. And a lot of it's probably going to be like, well, duh. And a lot of these keys are probably going to be keys that'll resurface for almost every single game or multiple games throughout the season. But offensively, I think one of the keys is protecting Jordan Love. And you want to protect your quarterback every single game of the week. I mean, that's a for sure thing. But it's incredibly important too, especially in this case when you've got Jordan Love, who is recovering from that left thumb surgery. He's probably going to have a brace or taped up over there. You want to provide a little extra protection over there. But considering, too, you're going to be going up against Aiden Hutchinson, who, he's coming back from surgery. I got to imagine he's itching to get back on that field after his injury from last year. And he is a force. He is a dynamite defensive player. And it's a player that you have to account for, that you have to be ready for, that you have to prepare for. And I would imagine he's going to be lined up quite a bit, maybe over Walker if they move him across the line of scrimmage there because, you got Zach Tom over there. You feel confident with Zach Tom able to hold his own. But, we'll see what the Lions' plans are. And you have to be able to prepare for where Hutchinson's at. And then, when you get up to the line of scrimmage, recognize where he's at, try to figure out what's going on, but just protect Jordan Love. Able to give him some time in the pocket. It's a huge key. And I think another key for this is winning the time of possession battle against Detroit. That means having success running the football. But winning that time of possession, not allowing, Detroit's offense to have extra possessions or to be on the field for extended times. Got to win that time of possession battle. We're talking those 6-7 minute drives for the Packers offense. But not only winning the time of possession, making sure you're coming away with touchdowns instead of field goals. If you got an opportunity in the red zone, get it in for a touchdown, not just settling for field goals. If you have those opportunities to come away with 6 points, take advantage of that. So winning the time of possession, but ending those long drives on touchdowns. We want to see more touchdowns instead of field goals. There is a difference, let's say, in 2 drives where you're coming to where it's 14-0 compared to 6-0. It's a 2-possession game to just a 1-possession game. So having those long extended drives, but successful drives that end in touchdowns. And I think part of that goes to the next key, putting your offense in third and manageable situations, not constantly getting into 3rd and 9s, 3rd and longs. You want to see 3rd and 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and short, 3rd and 3. Those manageable 3rd down situations where it opens up your playbook a little bit more. Because if it's a 3rd and 7, we know what's going to happen. Detroit knows what's going to be happening. It's going to be a pass. But if you could continue to get in those 3rd and manageable situations, that allows you to extend those drives, that allows your offense to stay on the field. That's going to be a big key for this. Not having a sack that puts you out. And the penalties, right? Penalties are related to this too. We saw in the preseason, the early parts of the preseason, some of the issues on the offensive line with the penalties. Got to be cleaned up for the regular season, but especially against a team like Detroit. You cannot continue to handcuff your offense like we saw at times in the preseason, where it was wiping away major gains or first downs. So putting your offense in those third and manageable downs, even second and short situations, and not continuing to shoot yourself in the foot with penalties, with sacks, or with the next key, turnovers. No turnovers, no picks, no fumbles, no carelessness of running with the football. No turnovers, no need whatsoever to be giving this Lions offense any more extra possessions. No turnovers, clean football, clean offensive football. We don't need to give Jared Goff another opportunity on the field, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Jahmyr Gibbs. We don't need it. So clean offensive football with no turnovers. On the defensive side, some keys that I would throw in there. Okay, you brought in Micah Parsons now. Let's let the dogs eat. Let's unleash the hounds here. Jared Goff, and like a lot of quarterbacks, but Jared Goff, I think, in my opinion, is a guy that really struggles when you got a lot of pressure on him. Make him uncomfortable. Go after him. You got guys out. Now, Lions have a great tackle in Sewell on the right side. But how can you get pressure up front, especially getting into Jared Goff's face? I wouldn't be surprised. I know, on one hand, we're probably going to see Lucas Van Ness blitzing up the middle or lined up as a defensive tackle, trying to bring some pressure up the middle. I wouldn't be surprised to see Micah Parsons in those situations too. Edrin Cooper. But bringing pressure, especially if you could get it up the middle, in his face right away. Not allowing him to step up and maybe hit Amon-Ra St. Brown on a crosser or Sam Laporta up the seam. But getting pressure after him and making him uncomfortable. And part of that, too, if you could do that, it eliminates the quick throws, which is another key for me on the defensive side. Lions love their quick throws, getting the ball out of Jared Goff's hands quickly. St. Brown, Laporta, Williams, they love to get the ball out of his hands quick in that shorter, quicker passing game. It's kind of like a little bit of a running game, and it sets up, some big throws down the field, right? You kind of hit those shorter throws, have success with it, and then maybe you get that corner to bite a little bit, and you can set up that deep throw. But eliminating those quick throws. How do you eliminate those quick throws? If you're able to get that pressure right away, especially in Jared Goff's face. Eliminate it. How many times? Last year, year before, are we watching a Packers-Lions game and we're just like, 5-yard pass, 7-yard completion? Those quick throws, they're frustrating, right? When you're watching your team on defense, it's incredibly frustrating watching that. It's like, come on, maybe they have to get the corners up a little bit, do a little bump, try to get them off their mark. Got to eliminate those quick throws. Got to slow down Gibbs. Got to slow down Jahmyr Gibbs. Whether it's in the running game, he can be effective in the passing game. Got to try to slow him down. A lot of talk about, with no Kenny Clark anymore, are the Packers going to suffer in run defense? All right, Colby Wooden. All right, Devontae Wyatt. All right, linebackers. Here's your time. You get a test early to showcase that you can still stop the run. A lot of focus is now on the improvement of the pass rush, at least on paper. But here's an opportunity to showcase that you can stop the run. You got a good test with Gibbs, Montgomery. I mean, you're going to have an opportunity here. And you have to slow down Jahmyr Gibbs. Not just in that running game, but also in the passing game. He is an electric football player. Try to eliminate or limit the amount of times he has the football in his hands. He's a special player. And he's going to be a focal point for this offense. Try to limit those possessions. And then creating turnovers. Green Bay wants to create turnovers. Jeff Hafley wants to create turnovers. Remember last year, that was like their main goal on defense, to lead the league in turnovers. They were a top 5 team. And this year in this offseason, preseason training camp, an emphasis on the defense has been fumbles, creating fumbles. They did a good job last year with picks, thanks to Xavier McKinney. But a focus has been creating more fumbles, punching the ball out, create those turnovers. Let's see it on hand right now. Let's see some more forced fumbles. Let's see some interceptions. If you're able to get pressure on Jared Goff, let's try to make it or force him to throw into double coverage or to throw in situations where he should be throwing the ball and take advantage of those picks. If you have an opportunity, come up with the pick. Give your offense an extra possession. You know, when I look at this matchup, there is a big unknown a little bit here with the Lions. If you're Matt LaFleur, you're Jeff Hafley, you're Adam Stanovich, and you're preparing for this matchup, I think you do have to prepare a little bit for the unknown because you do have 2 new coordinators. Now, the offensive coordinator is coming in outside the organization. I would imagine maybe going to put his own little stamp on it, maybe a little bit of wrinkle. But are they going to be a completely different offense? I wouldn't expect that because I think that would be dumb on their part because they've had so much success. When Ben Johnson's been their offensive coordinator, he found what worked for Jared Goff and this offense. So I think that is still going to be a big part. But I would imagine they're going to put a little bit of couple different things in there. So maybe prepare for the unexpected a little bit too. Defensively, probably going to be a lot of the same stuff. But again, maybe their own little element to it. Maybe their own little, every year you would expect the good teams are probably going to do something a little bit different or adjust it here and there, not completely get away from what they do best, but just to try to keep some teams guessing, right? So maybe prepare a little bit for the unknown. But when this schedule came out, I was one that I liked going up against Detroit right away because of the coordinators. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period. Now, I heard the other day somebody saying, well, I think that's getting overblown because, look at the Philadelphia Eagles last year. They had brand new coordinators and they won the Super Bowl. To me, that is not an accurate comparison because the Eagles brought in 2 experienced coordinators and well-respected coordinators who one now is a head coach. They brought in Vic Fangio last year. Okay? And then they brought in Kellen Moore. Kellen is now with the Saints as a head coach. 2 guys that had plenty of experience being coordinators. That is different than bringing in inexperienced coordinators, and this is their first game. I don't like that comparison. Well, it's like, well, the Eagles brought in 2 ones and they won a Super Bowl. You're talking about Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. It's different. So if there is a little bit of an adjustment period with the 2 coordinators, the 2 new coordinators with the Lions, I hope the Packers take advantage of that. If there's a little miscommunication, there's just like not quite on the same page and all that, let's take advantage of it. That's why I liked this matchup with Detroit because they essentially don't have a lot of time to kind of be on the same page. Whereas on the other hand, Green Bay doesn't play Chicago till December. Chicago at that time, Ben Johnson offensively, Caleb Williams and that, they may be at that point in a rhythm, same page. I would have liked to have played Chicago a little bit earlier. But at least for Detroit, they're getting that opportunity to maybe take advantage of that. There's a lot of other keys we could be going through with this matchup, taking a look at it. There's a ton. Both on the offensive side, defensive side too, special teams even. I mean, We talked about Daniel Whelan getting the contract extension. I think he is on his path to being one of the best, if not already one of the better punters in this league. And if there are going to be situations where got to punt the ball away, let's flip the field and not give them short fields. Putting them inside the 20, making them go the distance, making them drive the length of the field. All right, let's take a quick break. What else do we got? We got some more keys to victory, key matchups, all that fun stuff. Your texts, let us know. Hit us up, 715-830-1912. Quick break. We'll be back after these few words. looking for some supplies, excuse me, for the upcoming football game. This Green Bay football game on Sunday. Maybe you're having a little Green Bay party at the house. Well, get your shopping done at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Whether it's snacks, whether it's making some dips. Love football season when it comes to dips and such. Taco dip and nachos, taco bar. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Or maybe some beverages like some Man Cave Light from their wine and spirits department. Maybe you want some burgers. Got some damn good burgers over there, too. Hy-Vee's got you covered. And plus, if you need some new swag to represent your teams this year, you can check out their sports shop, their team shop over there. Find your favorite apparel. And plus, they've got not just pros, but college and your local high schools and such. So get all your shopping done at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. All right, let's look at some key matchups for this game between the Packers and the Lions as we kind of take a look at it. I mean, again, this could probably be a key matchup for every single contest this year, but I think it's definitely one for this game. It's going to be in the trenches. You look at the offensive line for the Lions. Yes, I know they've lost some key pieces on there, especially Frank Regno for their former center. But I mean, they still got Sewell at the right side on the right tackle. Taylor Decker's over there at left tackle. I think they're still going to be a solid unit. And then you've got this defensive front here with Green Bay. Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, Colby Wooden. Who's going to win in the trenches between that? And then on the flip side, it's the Packers offensive line going up against Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, Marcus Davenport, Williams. Which group on both sides is going to win in the trenches? That's going to be the key, the protection of their quarterbacks and which defense can get the most pressure against their quarterbacks. You know, another key matchup I'm looking at is kind of the secondary for Detroit going up against Green Bay's receivers and tight ends. Now, definitely a key is going to be, can Green Bay's receivers do a better job of catching the dang football this year? But you look at this group from Detroit. Got Arnold over there. They brought in DJ Reed in free agency. Kirby Joseph at safety. Brian Branch. That's a solid group. That's a very solid group. Robertson at nickelback. How do the Packers receiving group, but also the tight ends, how well do they do against those guys? Who's going to have the advantage there? We know Brian Branch is a very versatile defensive back. Kirby Joseph found the football quite a bit last year. How do the Packers receiving core and those tight ends match up with the secondary? And then you can say on the flip side too, a lot of similarities between these matchups. Detroit, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Here we go. We've been talking about the Packers corners and the tests that they're going to have all season long, going up against some really good receivers and some teams that have a couple of really good receivers or options at the tight end. Here you go with Detroit, with St. Brown and the speedy Williams and Laporta, a very good tight end. How does Keyshawn Nixon as cornerback number 1 do? Carrington Valentine, if Nate Hobbs is out there. Javon Bullard as the nickel guy, the slot guy at corner. Evan Williams, last year's a rookie, impressive. How does he continue to ascend? Xavier McKinney, I think we're all confident in. But that's going to be a key matchup too. Edrin Cooper, Quay Walker. Big year for Quay Walker. Big year for Quay Walker. How does Quay Walker do against Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery? I think Quay Walker has to be a key player in helping stop the run and stopping those guys in particular. Maybe even helping out in coverage against Sam Laporta. Quay Walker is a key player, a key matchup for this Packers defense to have success against this Lions offense. Helping stop that run, helping out in coverage, whether it is Gibbs going out for a pass or maybe a Laporta. Quay Walker is a key matchup in this game and a huge, huge season for him. And I would say Edgerrin Cooper, because it's the Packers linebacking core, because we have this high expectation for Edgerrin Cooper this year to be this great defensive player. And he showed us why we have these high expectations last year. How well he went after the quarterback, but just you could tell a difference when he was out on the field and how he was able to diagnose plays, especially in the running game. And he's got a tough task. It's a big matchup with him, with this running back group too. So we have these super high expectations for him, but we also got to remember this is his second year. I hope he doesn't have a sophomore slump. Nobody's wishing for that as Packers fans. But we do have the bar pretty darn high for him. And this is going to be a key matchup for both of these dudes, both Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper, going up against these running backs of these are going to be, part of a big matchup here. So what are some of your other key matchups, your keys to victory? Let me know. All right. You could text me on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. You got, we'll do some predictions. If you want to send me your picks, go ahead and do so. Send me your predictions, 715-830-1912 with a quick text. Who you got in this game? And send me your NFC North predictions if you haven't done so already. I know we've been asking about that for the last couple days and such, but hit me up. Okay, 715. I just gave you the number. I don't need to tell you again, right? 715-830-1912. You already know it, but give me your predictions over there too. All right, we'll get back to plenty more football talk coming at you throughout the rest of the morning here. I do want to chat a little Brewers, especially when we get to Brandon coming up here. Brewers falling yesterday to the Philadelphia Phillies, but Pat Murphy, a little cryptic, talking to the media, saying that there's going to be another relief pitcher that's going to be on the IL, a significant one. Wasn't somebody who pitched yesterday. So you would imagine it maybe wasn't somebody who was warming up yesterday either, because he said it didn't happen yesterday. So process of elimination, I'm wondering if it's Nick Mears, which would be a big blow to this bullpen. Now, again, we don't know how long he'll be out, but at this point in time in the season, it's like, dang it. But the Brewers now on the road going up against the Pirates for a series, for a weekend series. Pirates coming off of a win yesterday against the Dodgers. But hopefully this is an opportunity now when you look at this Brewers upcoming schedule, because left on the schedule, as of now, the only team that is left on their schedule that is currently in the playoffs would be the Padres, and that's at the end of the month. Maybe we have an opportunity here, or maybe the Brewers have an opportunity here to rack up some wins and hopefully increase that gap in the division, but also inch closer and closer and closer to getting that magic number to clinch the division and clinch the top seed in the National League. So we'll talk more baseball coming up next hour. We got some Carpet City Florence Center local sports roundup. Just past 7 o'clock, we're going to do our Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow from Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. I want to ask him about the Jaden Reed foot injury, a little bit about the Micah Parsons back issue and such. So it's that time of year where we've got a boatload of football injuries to catch up on. So we'll do that with Dr. Crow coming up just past 7 o'clock. Plus, our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. So we'll get to that in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Don't forget, you could also send me your cream of the crops and your bottom of the barrel. Cream of the crops, bottom of the barrel. Send those on over. Okay, play along with us. Got a lot of Packer predictions coming in right now, predicting a win for the green and gold coming up on Sunday. Don't forget, if you haven't made your picks yet, you're going to be one game behind, but you can still do so by logging on to our website, sportstalk1051.com, clicking on that fan cave tab, and making your picks. Just scroll all the way down and sign up for that Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge. Got a couple minutes left. We'll wrap it up with Morgs. Good morning, Morgs.
So you got the outfit, you got the spirit. Do you have the menu plan for Packers game day yet? They're kicking off the season Sunday, and you, Dan Kasper, are cooking up opening day menu. No, nothing fancy, nothing special.
I haven't gotten
There's
there
no
yet.
tradition. There's no have to have it for opening day.
I love dips in football season,
right?
So a little taco dip maybe. So,
okay, just to kick it off. You feeling good about it?
I don't think it's quite hit me yet.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
This weather makes it feel a little better, though.
Yeah.
It's a little hoodie weather, kind of getting that football moving groove.
Kind of a little bit last night watching the game, but I don't think it's really hit me
It's back
yet.
on TV now. We had to go to Ladysmith, Russ County. So it was a haul for volleyball last night. But by the time we were able to listen to the game, I'm like, okay, now we're kind of inching and creeping back in that direction.
Yeah.
So from Go Pack Go to Go Back Go, how's the first week of school going?
It's been good. It's been just a kind of a crazy week, though, too, because he's in both football and baseball. So we've had games or practices every single day.
Same.
And continuing into the weekend.
Yep.
So,
same here. Yeah. I know that feeling. So it's back to school season. Play some fast trivia, okay?
All right.
We'll see if you can get an A and hang it on the fridge.
Okay.
What is the most popular color of crayon? We're talking Crayola crayons. What's the most popular color?
I'm going to go red.
Blue. Okay, blue.
Okay, that was
you snuck it in there. I'm not giving it to you, but you're warming up.
All right.
Okay. Each graphite pencil has enough lead to draw how many miles long? So you're grabbing the number 2 pencil. If you were going to hold it continuously.
How many miles?
Yeah. How many miles before you had it run out?
I'll go 2.
No.
Okay.
Much more than 2.
Really?
35.
No.
I don't know who tests this stuff. I'm just saying 35. Which brings me to the next question. Is Hudson's generation a clicky pencil?
No, we're not allowed that yet.
What? Okay, because Siggy loves clicky, mechanical pencils.
Yeah.
I am not, because I break the lead
I
all the
love
time.
mechanical pencils.
Why?
I can't. I hate wooden pencils.
What?
Because if it breaks, then you got to sharpen it. My mechanical one breaks. Click, click. I'm good.
Okay, yeah, but admit it. You throw those away when they're empty. You don't refill them.
Oh, I used to always have the containers in school ready to go.
You're
or you bum off a piece of lead from somebody else.
Oh, is that how it works? In the underground lead swap department?
Yeah.
No way. I go wood pencils every time. I crack through.
See, I'm a chewer though.
Yeah.
So I don't like the wooden pencils because then it's got bite marks all over.
I remember, I almost think when we were growing up though, it was like you had to ask to make sure the teacher was okay with clicky pencils.
Oh, no.
We didn't. Yeah, those are all Siggy's.
He had to get a box of 48 wooden pencils.
Whoa, that's a lot of That's a lot of miles, apparently, if it takes 35 to run out one of them. Okay, so school buses, yellow. They weren't always yellow, though. What year did yellow become the official color of the American school bus?
1947.
1939.
Oh, that was closer.
I know.
All right, we got 20 seconds. You got
shortest school day. What country?
China.
Wrong. I think they go the longest, actually.
I thought they went all year, but I thought maybe
I think they go 24/7. It's mostly math. No, Finland. Finland has the average shortest school day, about 4 to 5 hours.
Lucky kids.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah.
But I think they do go 5 days a week. So
do we.
Yeah, some kids are lobbying for less than that.
Yeah.
temperatures are starting off on the cooler side this morning as we wrap up the work week with more fall-like weather. Mostly cloudy skies will prevail, with a few stray pop-up showers not being ruled out, especially this afternoon. We are going to have strong west to northwesterly winds and our high temperature only reaching the mid-50s. For tonight, mostly to partly cloudy, a low of 44, highs in the 50s and 60s over the weekend. On 13 First Alert, meteorologist Derek Dahlman.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports aficionados and armchair quarterbacks, welcome to the Dan Kasper Show, where sports passion meets expert analysis. Dan's encyclopedic knowledge and infectious passion for all things sports is both impressive and sad.
I have many leather-bound books.
So get ready to laugh, cheer, and maybe even facepalm a few times.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
It's the Dan Kasper Show.
All right, second hour kicking off on this Friday morning of September 5th, a football Friday. We'll have plenty more football talk coming up here, including some college talk. We do have some Brewers talk, as well as the Brewers falling to the Phillies yesterday, but beginning a series with the Pirates coming up starting tonight. We got our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle coming up next hour. Big announcement coming up next hour as well. But we kick off this hour like we normally do on Fridays, talking to our doc.
Paging Dr. Crow. Breaking down the latest in sports injuries. It's time for Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow. On the Dan Kasper Show.
He is Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, joining us here this morning. Happy Football Friday, Austin. How you doing, bud?
Doing.
What, you still there, Austin?
Oh, yep.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
good. Yep, got you there. How you doing there, bud?
I'm doing great.
Atta boy. Hey, it's football season, which means we've got plenty of injuries to be catching up on and talking about and such. So I want to start off with your favorite team, the Green Bay Packers here.
They're in the top 10.
Okay. So Jaden Reed, he's got a Jones fracture, apparently. This was revealed a couple weeks ago. He did not have surgery. He's going to plan on playing throughout the season with this. He sat out of practice the other day, returned yesterday. I got to imagine this is going to be kind of the plan going forward. But for a shifty wide receiver like that, how difficult is this going to be for Jaden Reed to play a full season with a Jones fracture in his foot?
It's going to be a challenge, no doubt. I mean, that definitely it's an important part of the foot, stabilizing structure. So if you really think about the anatomy, the base of the fifth metatarsal, so that's the kind of the pinky toe bone, if you will. So it's the bone in the lateral part of your foot. The Jones fracture is at the base of it. That acts as both actually kind of a fulcrum for us to push off of, but it's also one of the insertions for one of the peroneal tendons. So it is really important for both stabilizing the foot and also kind of pushing off with lateral movement. So, I mean, these are notoriously, painful when people have them. And so that's why we generally treat them with surgery. So, I mean, truthfully, it's kind of surprising that they're opting to try play through it, because I just can't imagine that's going to go great. So it may be, honestly, where they try it, it doesn't go well, and they opt to do surgery, but it will be a season-ending surgery. So that's probably why they're saying, look.
Oh, did we lose you, Austin?
And so
Okay.
it's not a situation where they say, look, if
Kind of coming in and out there. You still there, Austin?
I suspect it's not going to go great, but I guess time will tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. So, do you think he'll have like a brace or anything in his cleat or shoe or anything like that? I mean, injected with like pain medicine or anything?
I mean, they could do numbing agents, so they could inject him with like Marcaine or bupivacaine, which is like a similar to like Novocaine or lidocaine, which people probably have heard of. It just lasts longer. Because again, it's not really dangerous. I mean, you could try numb it. He may play with like a carbon fiber shanks, like an insert in the shoe that provides increased rigidity, so it doesn't have as much stress. But at the end of the day, I mean, like I said, you have a tendon pulling on that, and when you push off, there's just no way there's not going to be some force. So you might be able to protect it a little bit, but it's not going to be able to be fully protected. But yeah, I mean, they could try numb it, and that might provide some relief. But my guess is that the rest of that week, I mean, you just can't numb it continuously, right? So that would only be able to be done in game days. So like, how do you practice with it? It'd be pretty dang sore the next day if you mask it, play on it. It's not going to feel good. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how they try to treat that.
The other injury that kind of was revealed this week or earlier this week or the weekend was Micah Parsons. I think it was Schefter that first reported it, said that he's been dealing with an L4, L5 facet joint sprain in his back. First of all, can you kind of explain what that is? And is this something that could affect him throughout the season? Because they're talking about him taking potentially an epidural injection prior to this weekend's game.
Yeah. So the facets are basically the articulation between the vertebral elements. So you have in the front, you have the big kind of blocky part that we call the vertebral body. So that's kind of the anterior, the front part of the spine. Then you have the spinal cord, which runs behind it in that canal. And on the back side of that, you have these little things. They look kind of like shingles running into each other. Those are the facets. So they're the smaller joints in the back side of the spine. And so each level has a facet that links together. So that's why it's always designated as 2. So it's L4, 5. So it's the articulation between the L4 and L5 vertebrae. And so it really is involved mainly with back extension and rotation, which, as you might imagine, with a football player is an important movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so likely he had some jarring hit or some twist, maybe while working out, where he irritated that facet joint. So I'm sure they got an MRI. And the good news is it's not an issue with the disc. It does not appear to be causing a big issue with the nerve root, likely. Although you can sometimes get irritation of the facet. So the facet makes up the back part of what's called the foramen, which is the area where the nerve root exits. The most classic way to pinch the nerve root by a mile is going to be a disc herniation. So when people get the disc herniations, people are familiar with those. That'll pinch the nerve in the back. You can get it from the facet. That's much, much less common. So my guess is this is going to be just actually straight back pain. And so the injection, if they did it, probably wouldn't be an epidural unless it is causing a nerve root issue. Instead, it'll be more likely a facet injection. But same idea is you're going to put an anti-inflammatory in that area. I mean, traditionally, unless there's a structural issue going on, this is something that should be self-limited and go away. Backs can be tricky, so it may be something that lingers for a while, or maybe he deals with this season until he's able to fully rest it, because as we all know, there's no rest in the near future, right? I mean, there's going to be a bye week at some point, but backs don't get better in a bye week. So it's just, the hope is that they can kind of keep it at bay, and then maybe he gets better in the off season, or maybe just kind of burns himself out as the season goes. Worst case scenario is that the symptoms progress. He also gets some irritation in the nerve root and gets basically sciatica. Then that would require injections, but I don't see this being a big serious issue. I know obviously right after a big trade like this, everyone's emotions are high, and all of a sudden you see that and it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? I don't see this being a huge issue for him unless they're not disclosing actual structural problems with the facet. So if you start getting issues around the facet, it becomes something called spondylolisthesis or spondylolysis. That's basically an issue with the area right below that. That is a bigger issue, but they did not make any mention of that. So the hope is that this is actually just a true facet joint issue, and that should be self-limited.
Yesterday too, Christian McCaffrey, it was kind of big news, especially maybe for fantasy football owners out there. But before even a training camp preseason, everybody's like, "Oh, he looks like the Christian McCaffrey of old and looking good," and maybe he has the calf injury in his past. Yesterday, he was limited or out of practice because of a calf injury. I mean, this has kind of been a reoccurring thing with Christian McCaffrey, and we know what type of player he is. I mean, is this something that people can just kind of have reoccurring things with a calf issue, or could there be an underlying issue that keeps popping up for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, clearly, this has been. I mean, how many seasons has this been going on? I mean,
Yeah,
it's been a while. He's had this thing pop up. So, we've touched on this in the past, but just kind of reiterate. When people have an injury, so basically a strain of the muscle, you get tearing of the muscle belly or the junction between the muscle and the tendon. The problem is that heals with scar tissue. So no matter what, it heals with scar tissue. Now, if it's a relatively low grade, strain, it's not something that really comes back to be a recurrent problem. But if it's a major injury, there's just no way that we can just say, okay, make it heal normal tissue. I mean, that's just not possible. So that scar there creates a weak spot, and it's prone to re-injury. Now they're going to do a whole heck of a lot of things as far as like tissue mobilization, stretching. He's maybe even had some injections in that area, all that to decrease the risk of recurrence. But here we are again. So, I mean, once you see an area like this that's become a problem again and again and again, you definitely start worrying that this is just going to be a lingering issue that will just be, I don't want to say necessarily career ending, but one that's going to threaten his ability to play at the level he wants. So it may go away, subside, and then he gets back, and then it flares up and he misses a couple games and comes back. Hopefully it's not as severe as, the season-ending ones he's had in the past, but it could be something that just keeps coming back. I mean, just at this point, it's been so many times, you start saying, all right, there's a trend here, and it's concerned that this is not something that's going to go away for good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I want to go back to not yesterday, but the week before, the Badger game, Billy Edwards Jr., who left the game early due to a knee injury, and it sounds like it's a sprained knee, although a lot of people were worried because it was a non-contact, and when we think of non-contact, there's two of them now, ACL and Achilles, when you go to that. But sprained knee, non-contact injury, is that kind of rare, or was that just maybe a twisting of the knee that got maybe caught up, and that's what caused a sprained knee, do you think?
I mean, yes, it is. Well, it depends on what you mean by that. I mean, so sprained knee, I mean, like, a complete tear of a ligament's a grade 3 sprain, so we see them. But to have a mild one that's not that big of a deal, or at least that's what they're making it sound like, that is a little atypical, because usually the lower grade sprains are going to be from direct contact that'll injure the MCL or LCL, which are the collaterals. Usually non-contact ones are rotational, which means you're going to be injuring traditionally the ACL or less likely the PCL. And those tend to be more severe, like when they go kind of thing. So yeah, absolutely. The non-contact. Now, at first when they disclosed it, they made it sound like it was his ankle.
Yeah.
And then now they came out and said it's more the knee, but it sounds like they're saying it's not going to be too serious. So I don't know if this was like a low grade ACL sprain, which again, those are atypical. I mean, we don't see a lot of those. So yeah, this is a weird injury in a mechanism. Again, not to say it's a weird mechanism for an injury. We see it commonly. The problem is usually that's a more severe injury, right? So anytime you see a football player go down without someone touching them, it's always like, uh-oh, here we go. And to see it being not serious that is definitely a bit of a head scratcher. So, my guess is it's going to be, again, it's really weird to have a collateral injury. So it's probably going to be one of the cruciates. And usually, like I said, when they go, they go. So maybe this is a low-grade ACL or PCL sprain that he's just going to be able to play through some bracing and rehab. But I guess it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back, and that'll kind of tell us the severity.
Yeah, and then the other thing I was thinking about, could it be a bone bruise? But then they wouldn't really say it's a knee sprain, right? Because when I was looking at it, I didn't see the knee hyperextend like the Giannis one from a few years ago or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely. I know we'll see. The hyperextension injuries are very classic mechanisms for bone bruises, and you are correct. Those things can really, they can be a real significant injury. They look bad too, but in the end, the knee bounces back beautifully. But it didn't look like that. So Absolutely, there could be a bone bruise element. In fact, I would tell you with significant knee sprains, bone bruises are incredibly common. And in fact, a lot of times as people get back from the injury, the bone bruise is what drives a lot of the pain as they're coming back. So as that bone bruise resolves, that's when the athlete starts feeling better. So there certainly could be an element of it, but I'll tell you, usually if there's a bone bruise, there's either a really significant hyperextension, which we know didn't happen in this case, or a ligament really let go because the knee gets in a really bad position, which it doesn't seem to be the case either. So yeah, this is a bit of a weird one. I'll definitely concede that.
Interesting. Last one for you here. So Brewers pitcher Shelby Miller is gonna. Well, he might have to have Tommy John surgery if he decides to have it, and this is kind of what he's trying to decide between because he's good in his mid to late 30s. He's hit that service time of 10 years. He's already undergone a Tommy John surgery in his career. So I mean, is it if he doesn't play anymore, does he really have to have that surgery, or is this something that he can live the rest of his life with without ever having Tommy John surgery if he decides not to play anymore?
Yeah, we do this surgery for basically exclusively for throwing athletes. So if you don't throw, you really don't put enough stress on your UCL to have problems. So so for the most part, it is definitely going to be something that if he elects to not have the procedure, and at that point probably hang up the cleats, if you will, he probably will not need that surgery. And a revision Tommy John surgery is not an easy one. There's already bone tunnels that have been created. Probably already had the one of the grafts harvested to do it. So yeah, it's a big step to go down that route. Now some innovations have occurred with an internal brace that maybe makes the success rate a little higher now. So kind of do a combo reconstruction with that internal brace, but still it's a lot to go through for an athlete that may be in the kind of the swan song of the career. So a lot of times you have to have that look and say, is this worth going through again? Like, do I really want to put my body through this again? Some people, especially in this circumstance where it's not a surgery that likely would be necessary. So you can say, I hang it up, I don't need the surgery, or I go through it and do the surgery. So it's really going to be kind of one way or the other.
Interesting. He's Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. You got a game tomorrow, right? No Friday night, so tomorrow against Osseo Fairchild?
Correct. Yep, we got Osseo back in action up at Carson Park, so it should be a good game for us. We're coming off 2 big wins, and the boys are practicing hard, playing hard, so we're hoping to have another good one this weekend.
Might be some football weather for you too outside. So
it does look like it.
Hey, we appreciate it, buddy. Best of luck, and we'll chat again soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Take care.
You got it, Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, joining us here this morning. Let's take a quick break, and we'll bring in Mr. Berg coming up after these few words. Join us Sunday, September 21st for Packtoberfest. We're combining a tailgate party into Oktoberfest over at VFW Post 305, located on Star Avenue in Eau Claire. The fun begins at 9 a.m., but we'll have a special live pregame show starting up at 10 a.m. that day as well. Might have some free beer. They've got their breakfast buffet going on and such. So should be a lot of fun. Put it on your calendar. Sunday, September 21st. Let's say good morning to our buddy, Mr. Berg. Happy Football Friday, Brandon.
Happy Football Friday to you too.
It's kind of back in the full swing of things now, isn't it? The normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the normal time. So, but
Right.
I got football games that kicked off, the pro football games that kicked off last night with the Eagles taking on Dallas. By the way, we have cut the spitting down in our own studio. No spitting.
50% less spitting.
50% less spitting than what you saw last night in the at the beginning of that game. So we'll talk some more football coming up here in a little bit, but I do want to talk a little Brewers to kind of kick off this because yesterday Brewers dropping the series against the Phillies, but they still hold it. I mean, in case it happened, they have the tiebreaker because of the sweep earlier on and such. But Freddie Peralta, man, continue. I mean, he's getting more talk and recognition. I don't think he's going to win the Cy Young, though. I think Paul Skeens might almost have that in the bag here. But he extended his scoreless streak to 29 innings pitched. We know about the wins and his record and his ERA, for crying out loud. I mean, is Freddie Peralta's season kind of going a little bit under the radar for this team? I mean, just that's an impressive streak when in the last 125 years, guys who have been on a similar run to what Freddie Peralta's on right now is Don Drysdale, Oral Hershiser, Zach Greinke, and Zach Gallen, and now Freddie Peralta. Not bad company.
Not bad company at all. And yeah, it is kind of maybe going a little bit under the radar. And you know, the weird thing too is you look at this and you still feel like with Freddie there's a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like you feel like he's maxing out right now. Like this is the best possible outcome for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we long know with Freddie Peralta, it's about, you know, how deep does he go into a game?
Yeah.
Because generally he doesn't get hit. It happens, but it's not like he has stretches where just everyone hits him.
Mm-hmm.
Like teams just generally don't get a ton of hits off him. It's just a matter of who's on base when they get those hits.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, trying to limit the big innings and trying to, you know, not just limit the big innings from runs being scored, but as far as how much how many, you know, extra pitches, extra runners, that kind of stuff are on base. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he's someone that's going to get a lot of down vote, Cy Young votes. You know, like you said, probably not a lot of people are going to vote him first, but
Right. Maybe second or third.
a lot of people second, third, fourth, whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
he should finish pretty high in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's been easily the Brewers' most consistent pitcher.
Mm-hmm. And I know, I think it was Pat Murphy yesterday too said, you know, and he talked about, you know, he doesn't go deep into games like a lot of those guys. And he kind of said maybe that's, you know, not something he's probably going to be able to fix right now. But if he can, that's what's probably going to elevate him into superstardom, essentially is what he said. So
Right. But I mean, you kind of wonder at this point, is that something that can happen?
Right.
Or is just that kind of that one flaw, so to speak, that keeps him from being a great pitcher when he's a really, really good pitcher. And there's a difference in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of pitching, Pat Murphy was a little cryptic yesterday too, saying that we're going to be putting another relief pitcher on the IL. Wouldn't say who, but he kept hinting like, well, it's not somebody who, it didn't happen today. So you would think it's not somebody who pitched or who warmed up. So it's like process of elimination, and it's a significant one. I keep going, is it Nick Mears?
It's like playing a game of guess who.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, okay, they got a mustache. You know, they've got blonde hair. You're flipping over the things, and suddenly that kind of seems like who it has to be.
Right.
Because
And
it seems like he's the one that really didn't warm up yesterday.
yeah, so like I was looking through it, I'm like, okay, who didn't pitch, who didn't warm up, and then you're kind of going back, and it's like, oh no, and then you don't know like how bad is it. I mean, we're in the final month, so you don't want anybody going on an IL stint, but I mean, is this something that's going to keep them out the rest of the season and such? Because this is a high leverage relief pitcher.
Right.
That you
I mean, this
use.
is a guy that Pat Murphy's went to a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost, I don't necessarily say to a fault, but it's someone that he is not shied away from going to, especially with runners on base. And, this time of year, I think for managers, it's all about, having those relievers that you trust.
Mm-hmm.
And he was certainly one of those guys. And more often than not, he would do the job when he came in. So yeah, that would be a blow.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we're in September and it's kind of a mash unit with that bullpen a little bit.
Right. So, I mean, is that something that Yoho could do? I mean, is that
he might
something...
be someone that you elevate that opportunity. I mean, it sounds like maybe Grant Anderson's not that far from returning. I know, he was someone that at times it seems like Brewers fans have been a little perturbed about. But at the same time, I think he's pitched better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just kind of had a couple of blow-up outings. I think people think about, the game at the end of the streak, and he was the guy that kind of gave it up. But, I don't put a ton of that on him necessarily. But, like,
right.
He's someone that they've gotten a lot out of this year. It just might be that he has to move up a little bit in the pecking order just because of need.
Mm-hmm. Now, and this kind of changes it maybe a little bit too, but like Robert Gasser, I saw Kurt Hogg talk about or made the comment that, when he's at AAA, might kind of transition him to shorter relief to get him ready for a bullpen one. Is that somebody that we can, in this short time frame, say get called up in October or on a postseason schedule and he's coming out of the bullpen type of situation?
Could be, just because it's a matter of need right now.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it would be interesting to see him try that DL Hall role, where he's a reliever, but he's a multi-inning guy. Because Aaron Ashby, just because of especially the way things are now, he's kind of more of a matchup / one inning kind of guy, because they might want to try to use him a little bit more often because they have to.
Mm-hmm.
When they were able to go to Ashby or to DL Hall for 2 or maybe 3 innings, that was a little bit more kind of luxury.
Yeah, because
they were still fully stocked other places. I think the other guy to kind of keep an eye on, and he had to go down yesterday, would be Rob Zastryzny. Just as maybe that more classic matchup lefty guy. He came in facing the top of the Phillies order when obviously they're stacked with lefties with Schwarber and Harper, and did the job. So he's kind of someone that might have a little bit more on his plate, and how you deploy him and him finding some success might help you kind of be able to figure out how a Jared Koenig or an Aaron Ashby are utilized, or a Robert Gasser for that matter too. And I think he will, in short order, be in that bullpen.
We've been wondering a long time, how are they going to handle Rhys Hoskins when he comes back? Like, how do you get all that playing time? And it kind of seemed like a couple days ago when we had the September call-ups and he wasn't up there, Pat Murphy didn't really even know how to do it yet, because you look at the quote, he's like, we got our first base and our DH on here. We want to give the young guys opportunities. We have until the 9th to make that decision. I would imagine Rhys Hoskins is going to be on this team,
Right. It's just a matter of, is there an avenue to consistent playing time? Look, up until, I think it was 3 hits yesterday, obviously it'd been a struggle for Andrew Vaughn. So, a believer that in a lot of cases, these things just kind of work themselves out.
Right.
And, Andrew Vaughn still should be getting opportunities going forward, but it's not like you can't mix and match a little bit with Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins can be on this team.
Yeah.
Like, he's someone that if he's someone that if he's kind of gets hot, that's a difference maker just because of the power. And that's a lot of times what happens in the postseason is, someone gets hot for a couple weeks. If there's someone that does that, I mean, that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Why is Anthony Siegler still getting on the reps on this team? He's like I just like it, and I know this isn't the best way, but it's like and I get the lefty, sort of thing, but I'm like, but man, last year Bryce Terang got an opportunity to go up against lefties and they kept him in there and such. Like, I'd still feel more confident with Caleb Durbin in there at this point.
That's kind of my thing. Like, I understand wanting to play the matchups, like, especially if you have somebody that just destroys, say, right-handed pitching.
Right.
Like, I'm all for that. I mean, how many times over the years have I talked about, well, the Brewers should be interested in this person because they hit lefties?
Yeah, exactly. A lot.
And this is the first time in a while that the Brewers have actually hit lefties pretty well. Not yesterday, obviously, but
yeah,
Roberts, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
But to me, that line of thinking only works if you're actually getting that production, or you have a track record of someone being able to do that. I think Anthony Siegler has the potential to be a contributor, but it's just not happening right now. And this annoyed me a little bit because Craig Counsell would do this as well, and I think Cubs fans would say he's still doing this with Justin Turner at first base in Chicago. It's like, it's one thing to play the matchup, but if the guy you're bringing in to play the matchup isn't doing anything, it really doesn't matter. You might as well just stick with the guy that plays every day.
Yes.
And that's kind of my thing at this point. If you had some sort of left-handed hitter coming off the bench that was just mashing against right-handed pitching, then okay. But, Anthony Siegel just isn't doing that right now. Now, some of the advanced numbers say maybe he should be hitting a little bit better than he is, but he's gotten a pretty decent run here, and it just hasn't worked. So at that point, you might as well roll with the guy that, even if the numbers are better against lefties and righties, I think his numbers are still better than Siegler's are, and just that's your starter. That's the guy that has been more productive, and that's Caleb Durbin.
Right. How much does Jacob Misiorowski have to prove in these next couple weeks? Is he one of those guys that, maybe how do I want to phrase this? Pressure's on the most, or the most to prove? Because I'm just curious, when we get to the playoffs, assuming we still will, how does that rotation kind of set? We know Freddie, if they can set it up, Freddie will get game one. If they have that luxury to set up their pitching, Freddie will get game one. I'm assuming Quinn Priester would be in there. You got Brandon Woodruff in there. Does Misiorowski, because Pat Murphy keeps saying we want him as a starter, but at the same time, is that going to be the case for this year?
At some point, you can want something, but you have to see something to warrant it. And yeah, I think now your kind of question is it Misiorowski? Is it Quintana? And I'm a believer when it comes to pitching staffs and being able to throw different looks at people. And obviously, there's not many people that can replicate what Jacob Misiorowski does just from a pure stuff standpoint.
Yeah.
But with Jose Quintana, you kind of have a little bit more of an idea of what you can expect. And I like the idea of throwing a lefty out there that's going to give you a lot different from pretty much everything else you have on that staff right now, because, he's 90, 91 miles an hour, and it's more kind of an off-speed offering, as opposed to, well, I'm going to throw as hard as I can. And I still think with Misiorowski, if nothing else, there's still value in him as a multi-inning reliever of the bullpen for the postseason. Obviously, going forward, you still want to go through the avenues to try to make him a starter. But if this continues and he just, he can't even consistently get through 5 innings, like, you can't really do that in the postseason, even though you can get away with that a little bit more in the postseason just because there's more built-in off days.
Right.
I still think that if that were to continue, Quintana's your 4th starter.
And, part of me was like, do they do the whole what Counsell did against, in 18, where it was, remember the game with Wade Miley getting, the initial, and then Brandon Woodruff comes in,
right?
Trying
the Frankenstein. I would call it like the Frankenstein's, call it like piggybacking, but like the Frankenstein starter, where, do you try? And we've seen it this year with like Quinn Priester and DL Hall. Maybe, but
do you force a lineup, from one manager, and then you come in with a different one where then you attack
maybe,
it that
but
way?
I think, but there's only certain starters I think you do that with, because I think there's only certain starters that are comfortable with that. Quinn Priester's shown he can do that, so that's fine. But like Jose Quintana, I don't know, because he's such an established veteran. Like, I just don't know if sometimes you mess around with that, because the worst thing you want to do is try to get too cute.
Right.
Like, don't force it, but if it's a situation where you can do it, then you can try it. But I wouldn't try to do it just for the sake of doing it.
Right.
I mean, there's still going to be opportunities for Misiorowski to pitch multiple innings in the postseason. That's just how things develop, especially if, this bullpen is a little thinner than anticipated.
So we got the Pirates coming up now for this weekend series. And, maybe the schedule has kind of changed here a little bit just based off how the teams have been playing here, because as of right now, the only team that's in the playoffs that the Brewers would play is the Padres towards the end of the month. But it still makes me nervous, because you get these teams that maybe play a little loose. They want to play spoiler. They know that, hey, we're not – why do we have to play tight? We've got nothing really to
right.
chase.
You're giving
after.
some younger guys opportunities, and sometimes that's where you find some people.
And so I don't want to like downplay or like, okay, schedules ease up a little bit, because sometimes that gets even more dangerous at this point.
Right. You can't afford to look too far ahead, but getting the Blue Jays and the Phillies in the review, taking 3 out of 6, winning the series on the road, big day, like you said, just get just the one at home, even though obviously yesterday was pretty frustrating. I mean, both the losses kind of were.
Right.
But
even, not to say that it was like, yeah, but it was only 2-0, that feel good. It's like, I get it, but at the same time, that's not going to matter when it's the postseason, right?
Right. There's not a column under, wins, losses, and moral victories.
Right. Yeah.
So you just, you got to move.
Mm-hmm.
You got to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about what's in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's a road trip to Pittsburgh and to Texas.
Yeah. And it feels like, or at least it sounds like, the Yelich thing is not that much of an issue. I mean, they're hoping he'll be back for this Pittsburgh series coming up here. But, I mean, you'd like to have his bat back in the lineup here to help out things.
Right.
So.
And that's kind of one of the things where with the bullpen, having a little bit of, I won't say scuffles, but just injuries, you're going to have to look to the offense a little bit more. I mean, they've had some games here recently where their runners in scoring position hitting hasn't been great, but they were like, to me, that was something that was almost a little bit expected at some point. Cause I think at one point here recently, they're hitting like 285 with runners. It was one of the top numbers.
Yeah.
And like, that's just, you're due at that point. Like that's a very high number. And to me, hitting with runners in scoring position is a bit like forcing turnovers in the NFL, where that can be a little bit, I'll say fluky, but it can change, or like your record in 1-score games.
Right.
Sometimes that can change year to year, and it's not necessarily always stuff that you did.
Right. Well, it's like the stat that I think just gets so overrated a lot in football, the fourth quarter comeback wins and losses and all that. Remember that time? It was like, oh, how many fourth quarter losses or comebacks? He barely has it. Probably because they were already winning.
Right.
It's like we can come up with a stat for almost everything.
Pretty much.
Such. So, all right, we'll talk some more baseball coming up a little bit later on. Let's take a quick break, though. We'll wrap up the second hour with a little local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. That's coming up after these quick words. When your vehicle needs some work done, there's only one place that you can go or trust, and that's AJM Automotive in Eau Claire. From oil changes and brakes to engine repairs, diagnostics, the team at AJM Automotive does it all, plus some small engine work if you need some of the lawnmowers or snow blowers, because we're getting that close to that time of year too. They can help you out over there. And speaking of snow blowers, they're going to be offering some snow plow services. So give them a call, 715-835-9523. They're located at 1919 Brackett Avenue in Eau Claire. And we're going to be doing our Pump the Brakes Full Throttle, presented by AJM Automotive, coming up here in just a little bit, along with Cream of the Crop and Bottom of the Barrel. Let's wrap up the second hour this morning, though, with Local Sports Roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. First off, Blue Gold football did get started last night. They picked up a victory at Carson Park against Carroll College, 29-7. UW Stout football is going to also be in action tomorrow in Menominee to begin their season. They're going to be taking on the University of Dubuque. So we got those seasons kicking off as well. It's also the third week of the high school football season.
Already.
Yeah. So I know, like, Memorial's going to be at home taking on Spash. That should be a tough one for them too. But what are some of the other matchups that are kind of catching your eye?
Well, starting in the Big Rivers, there's a couple interesting ones. I would say starting off with Hudson and Menominee. I mean, those are two teams that were pretty impressive, I would say, in non-conference play. And, they're going to be, starting, obviously, the Big Rivers play tonight. And they're both, like, that rival. I would say it's a rivalry. I mean, they've had just a bunch of really important games over the years in conference play.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a fun one to start with. Chippewa Falls, off their win last week over Eau Claire Memorial, goes to New Richmond, takes on the defending Big Rivers champs, New Richmond, who is looking pretty good once again. So, I mean, that'll be a tough opener for the Cardinals, but obviously a big opportunity there. So, Marshfield going to play Rice Lake too. Rice Lake, a little bit closer in their win last week versus the opener against DC Everest, but still, that's a Rice Lake team that have a lot of new faces, but just kind of continues to click right along. So, those are, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it in the Big Rivers. Within the Clover Belt, you mentioned obviously Mara Regis taking on Osseo tonight. A couple Fall Creek Mondovi is an interesting one, just because Mondovi is a really good team. Fall Creek's got had some good efforts to start the year here. I mean, that's kind of one I would keep an eye on in the Clover Belt as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 8-man football,
8-player tonight. I'm trying to think offhand. I know McDonald goes to Lake Holcomb. Gilman hosts, I believe it's Frederick. So
okay.
A couple ones there. New Auburn plays Prairie Farm. That'll be an interesting one there.
Mm-hmm.
I will actually be making the jaunt to Cumberland from Bloomer and Cumberland. So,
nice.
So a couple teams looking to start the Heart of North season on the right note after some tough losses in non-conference play.
Right, exactly. Not only is the football season going on, but I know we got soccer that's also going on.
It's all going on.
Yeah, it's all going on.
Everything.
You watched a little soccer last night, right?
A little soccer, a little volleyball. Beat the rain a little bit for soccer as Chippewa Falls boys soccer opened up the Big Rivers schedule with a 5-0 win over River Falls. So a couple goals for Grant Von Hayden in that one. So, but yeah, I mean, Chippewa Falls is unbeaten actually in their first 3 games. They had a couple ties in non-conference play, open up, I mentioned, with the big win over River Falls. And now Tuesday, business picks up for them a little bit. They go to play Hudson. Hudson and Memorial, always the favorites in that conference, but an opportunity for Chippewa to kind of show their improvement with the tough matchup there.
How's the volleyball season looking like
volleyball
right now?
Chippewa Falls picked up a 4-set win over Eau Claire Memorial. A very spirited back and forth matchup throughout those 4 sets there. Took set 3 and 4 to kind of close out after Eau Claire Memorial prevailed in a marathon second set. So for a Chippewa Falls team that only won 1 matchup in Big Rivers play last year, to be able to start out the conference season with a win over a solid Memorial team is a good first step for that team, as it's looking to kind of move back up the pecking order after a younger team, on the court last year.
So golf I know is going on, tennis is going on as well. So that's
Chippewa Falls. I know on the Chippewa Falls end of things, obviously they've picked up some wins in the girls tennis world, but Big Rivers, like I mentioned, Hudson Memorial, Menominee, always in the mix there for both tennises. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think though, but for golf, we're already a good chunk of the way into the season.
Yeah. And weather-wise, it's probably kind of telling you that too.
A little bit. I mean, I think it looks like it's supposed to re-warm back up next week, which is helpful. But yeah, this week is definitely not making sure we forget that, you're still in Wisconsin. Like we're gonna keep an eye out for you. And then yeah, girls golf yesterday for the Big Rivers. They were up in Rice Lake, Turtleback, Hudson picking up the win there, Chippewa Falls 3rd, Eau Claire Memorial 5th, Eau Claire North 6th. So yeah, I mean, we're a good chunk in, and then you go to next week, and there's already some Big Rivers ones around here too. I think Mill Run maybe Monday, and then I think Lake Hallie or Lake Wissota, Tuesday for the Big Rivers. So, but yeah, I mean, once we get a little bit later on in the month, we're not going to be that far removed from conference play, and then usually beginning of October is postseason.
And then we've got cross country's going on too, right?
Yep,
got that going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, last weekend I believe it was Eau Claire North hosted an invite, but yeah, we're getting into the throes of the season there with some big events coming up. I know not too far in the future, Rice Lake has their gigantic old invite where you got some really good teams going on up there. So
I want to ask you, how big of a change is this for wrestling going to lacrosse now?
It's interesting because it's grown, and as we've seen, with the growth of like the girls wrestling as well, and I believe it's in a year or two they're going to start doing girls team state as well. But it's a good change, I think. I mean, the lacrosse center definitely has the size to host it, and I'm always all about trying to make sure that different areas kind of get stuff when it comes to state. It's always as fun as it is. Going to Madison for stuff, like you always want to, like, I really like that volleyball and girls basketballs in Green Bay. Track is obviously in lacrosse, like, but I think this will be good. And we're going to see some just changes in general to how the postseason is run for wrestling as well. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that goes, because you can always have a good idea with it, but until it's going, you don't know.
And you notice a lot of parallels to some of these locations, right? Like girls basketball, Green Bay, UW Green Bay is a really, really talented, and then UW lacrosse with wrestling,
right?
Last couple of years, especially them and UW Eau Claire with a lot of battles in the wrestling department too. So, and we know lacrosse track, UW lacrosse track,
right? There's a reason but like, these are decisions that the WIA doesn't take lightly. Like, there's a lot of thought that's been put into this, I'm sure. I mean, this is not something that they just woke up this week and said, hey, what we should do?
Right.
So I like it. I think it's going to be a good thing. And I'm kind of curious to see, just knowing how lacrosse embraces state track, just the community and the surrounding areas, and just how much of a good thing it is for them just financially. Just when you factor in, you've got everyone from around the state. And obviously this will be a little bit different for team state, because it's not like that where you have pretty much every town represented.
Right.
But still, I mean, it's something I think that ultimately is going to be good for everybody.
Be curious if we ever, and I don't know if there's ever been talks or thoughts about it too, but like, selfishly, it'd be cool if like Eau Claire would be able to host, with Sonic Tag Center. Would they be able to do anything like that?
I would like to be like, selfishly, I would like to see state baseball at Carson.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I really enjoy Grand Chute and what Fox City Stadium offers, but like I said, I'm always for trying to spread the wealth a little bit. I mean, that would be one that'd be fun. I just don't know how viable that is. But that would be fun.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that one, but that would be a good one too. So, but I kind of, because you've always talked about wrestling states and just the environments, and they
unique,
do a really well job down there. And,
I mean, individual wrestling, I would kind of consider, compare a little bit to track, because you just have so many different athletes. So inevitably and it's one of those things where if you're there as a fan, you're watching, whatever schools you're there to watch. But then there's other stuff that catches your eye, and those are the special ones when you can tell, like, this. This wrestler is kind of, just not, they're kind of transcending, not just, oh, that's whoever from wherever. It's, oh no, it's a big deal because maybe it's a 3-time champ or a 4-time champ, or there's just something that you're really picking up on.
I mean, even like the coverage of it and how they do. I mean, I feel like, when you talk about state tournaments and that, it's, you got football when it's state championships. Obviously, basketball is huge on there. I'd put wrestling right up there in terms of how they do the coverage for their state.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really big deal. And then just everything that goes with it, like, and there is something special about being in the Kohl Center, obviously, for fans around here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only a couple that are there. So
right.
That makes it, I think, a little bit more special when it is there. And then just how it's treated with, the Walk of Champions at the start of the meet, the championship at night and stuff like that.
And they might even do that still at lacrosse, right? The Walk of Champions.
It's a little different for team versus individual, but and the lacrosse center kind of had a bit of a dry run. Remember, they hosted the first girls state tournament. I think it was 2021 or 2022. I forget the year. But girls state, girls wrestling has grown tremendously just in the first few years. It's been like its own separate offering.
Right. So yeah, definitely some big news that was this. They had to have been, like you said, probably thinking about this for a while. I would imagine.
I think so.
Yeah. So, but nonetheless, it's we look at the last few years. Girls basketball getting switched over there,
right? And that's another one where that's such a good fit because it really seems like Green Bay embraces that. And then volleyball in the fall too.
Yep.
But like that's been there a little bit longer. But you can just tell it's embraced. I felt like sometimes when everything for the most part was in Madison, like they were happy to have it, but it's just like there's just so much going on that it kind of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes. And you don't like to see that when it comes to like a state tournament. You want all of these to always be as unique and as heralded as possible because it's a big deal to get to state. Doesn't matter the sport.
And I actually saw, I don't know if this factors into it, but I did see that they had a poll question because I think it actually is kind of a misconception. It caught me off guard. WIA offices are actually Stevens Point.
Right.
It's not Madison.
No,
so I mean, it's but you think it's always in Madison because that's where the state tournaments
that's where a lot of things are, but that's just kind of how things are. But like, Matt, that it makes sense because like Stevens Point, I always joke about is 2 hours from everywhere.
Right.
Which I guess if you're going to be a governing body in the state of Wisconsin, that kind of makes sense to be very as centrally located as you can be.
But I got to imagine a lot of the northern schools and teams are probably like, a little bit closer for us for traveling, for some of these state stuff.
Right. I mean, I remember it would have been the 2002. Because when I was in high school, Thorpe girls basketball went to state for the first time, and they played an early morning game. And I just remember you'll always see it if you get like the program where it has like the state map and and then like South Shore went that year.
Yeah.
And South Shore is on the South Shore of Lake Superior.
Yep.
So like trying to measure that, like, holy cow, that's a long trip. Like I never had that perspective. And obviously they've gone to state many other times since.
Right.
But like to see that, it's like, wow, like we think about, oh, that's a 2.5 3 hour trip for us. That's a long trip to Madison. But it's like, man, you get a little bit, you get further north. That's not generally, that might not be a trip you're making down and back in one day. Like we might be able to hustle to do.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. All right. Good stuff there. Local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Coming up next hour, we're going to kick it off with a little cream of the crop, bottom of the barrel. We'll do a little AJM automotive, pump the brakes as well. I think I've got I'm kind of proud of my bottom barrel. Don't know why, but a little tease there. So usually I struggle sometimes for bottom barrel, but I think I got this one.
I mean, it was one of those things where when you first brought it up, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I feel like every week kind of calling something out like that, but generally there seems to be something.
There's something that's like, this one deserves to be called out.
Right.
So I'm ready to let loose on this particular individual, let's say. Yeah, little tease. So got your curiosity piqued a little bit?
I'm kind of wondering, I won't ask you before we know, but I'm kind of wondering because I had one I was kind of wondering about too.
Okay.
And I'm kind of wondering if we're
maybe on the same
up
path?
the same tree here.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, Brandon. Okay,
Dan.
So we'll get that coming up here. Plus, get your predictions in, Brandon. I want to do some football predictions.
Yeah, I was wondering about. I was going to text you about that, but I kind of had a feeling we were going to. So.
Yep. So we're going to do some predictions coming up for. I know we got a game in, but that's fine. It's just one game. So
let's put it this way: the Eagles winning probably doesn't change much because that's probably what we were expecting.
Right. I was actually surprised it was a little closer than I thought.
They also had pretty good accounting for themselves.
Yeah.
But
first half, especially, I'm like, oh, okay.
This is a game.
Yeah. I'm like, dang.
Javonte Williams, NFL MVP.
CeeDee Lamb, catch the ball.
But, yeah.
What do you do? All right, 2 in, 1 more to go. Got some news updates, and we'll be back after these few words. All right, here we go. We've got the final hour coming at you. I want to jump right into it because we got lots to still cover in this final hour. So let's get right to our cream of the crop, bottom of the barrel, shall we? We'll give Randy a little love. All right, Brandon, who is your cream of the crop first?
It's not even necessarily someone, it's just kind of an idea that's been kind of out there this week. It sounds like the possibility of the NCAA going to just one transfer portal. I think it was like near the end of it was sometime in like January, early February. Like I get it's tough with just changeover and semesters and stuff, but I think anything that kind of simplifies things probably makes it a little bit easier.
Yep.
I mean, that would be an absolute free for all, but it kind of is already.
Right.
So I just feel like you have that one, and to me, that's I kind of like that better. A little bit more streamlined process.
Yeah. I'm going to keep mine fairly easy. Freddie Peralta, cream of the crop, pitcher of the month. Had a sub 1. Was a 0.35 in the month of August. 4-0. And this hitting or this scoreless streak that he's on right now is fantastic. Why are you smiling at me like that for?
No, I do like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Freddie Peralta is my cream of the crop. Bottom of the barrel. Who you got?
So my bottom of the barrel, and this is something I'd seen a few days ago.
Okay.
And again, I'm curious if we're doing the same thing, but if not, I feel like we'll just appreciate in general. But as we know, this week there was the announcement about NFL Red Zone.
Oh yeah.
And about how they're gonna, sprinkle some commercials in there. And I've never been much of I've never really been a Red Zone consumer, but I like the idea where they're it just is what it sounds like. But the thing that kind of irked me was a follow-up tweet I'd seen from everyone's good friend Adam Schefter, which was
it an accumulation of information?
It was
again?
not,
Okay.
but some added clarity begins, Mr. Schefter. NFL Red Zone, 7 hours, 420 minutes. Over that time, viewers will be served 1 to 2 total minutes of ads in 15-second increments. This comes out of anywhere between 0.25% to 0.5% of the total time, considerably less than other sports/entertainment programs. But
So
it's still more than zero. And this could not be any more of an obvious carrying water for your bosses.
Yeah.
And the fact that it came out very kind of pretty quickly after this told me this was almost like doing damage control immediately.
Yep.
And I don't know, I'm always going to be a little worried when you see reporters doing something where you're just 100% carrying water for somebody oh no, it's actually not bad. Well, it's worse than it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just irked me.
That is a good one. I didn't see the tweet from Schefter,
Gotcha.
but
it just kind of irked me. I'm just okay, you're just obviously trying to, have the, fight the fight for your bosses.
Yep. It's 100% what that is. Yeah. That's a good one. All right. Mine, bottom of the barrel, Bill Belichick. Not for the job that North Carolina did, but this reports that he is not allowing scouts from the Patriots to come watch his team. They banned Patriots staff members from his program. Why is this a bad thing? You're doing a disservice to your players for crying out loud. This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. And this whole thing. So reading a little bit here from me, this was what makes it worse. When reached by ESPN, North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi said, "Good luck," and hung up the phone.
I do appreciate that response.
2 NFL scouts who work for other teams told ESPN that North Carolina, under Belichick's leadership, offers limited access to all NFL personnel. Clubs are allowed to speak only with Bill Belichick's girlfriend, it looks like. Scouts will have zero access to coaches or other personnel people, according to scouts. The term zero access appears 3 times on UNC's college relations website page, accessible only to NFL personnel. One scout said NFL personnel are only able to watch 3 periods of practice at North Carolina. Each college program varies in access to NFL personnel, but the scout said that many programs allow scouts to watch full practices, Can't think of another school with a statement of zero access, one scout told ESPN. What are you doing?
You remember when Bill Belichick said, we're going to run this like NFL team. We're going to be training kids to be ready for the NFL.
Yeah.
We're going to basically be the 33rd team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Doesn't this kind of just fly in the face of that?
Takes everything away from it. If I'm a college athlete, a college football player that has aspirations to play in the NFL, there is no way in God's green earth. Okay, by the way, I did say it was Belichick's girlfriend. It's not Belichick's girlfriend. It's a different Jordan. I saw the last name Jordan. I was like, okay, wait, what? No, it's a different one. But there's no way in God's green earth would I go play at North Carolina now.
Right. If your big thing is like, hey, I want to get to the next level, like, why would you go somewhere, even though you're getting coached by, arguably the greatest NFL coach of all time? Why are you going to go somewhere where scouts are not going to be able to see you as much?
Exactly.
What's the point?
What is the point? And what is the point of Belichick doing this? Because I would imagine it's going to limit the talent pool that he could go recruit for. Hey, I won how many Super Bowls? You want to play in the NFL? Yes, that's a draw. But then at the same time, it's like, but you're not going to allow scouts to come watch?
At least as much as other places?
Right.
I can go to Alabama. I can go to Georgia and still get that same pipeline. I can go to Ohio State.
What are you doing with this? It's just so ridiculous. And then the pomp and stance from that Monday night game, I mean, it looked like a 7-year-old's birthday party after the post-game press conference with Bill Belichick up there.
Where was the horsey?
Or the pin the tail on the donkey in the back. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I think it takes away a lot from Bill Belichick's legacy right now. This is not good. It's poor PR. He will be in the Hall of Fame. He will still be recognized as one of the all-time great coaches in that. But this tarnishes it a bit with everything. And especially, this is very childish, especially when it's Patriots. For crying out loud. I mean, Mike Vrabel's the head coach over there, okay?
Right, that's one of your guys.
That's one of your guys, all right?
You know who this is all helping, though? Tom Brady.
It's helping Tom Brady.
It's making Tom Brady, like, how often, obviously the whole Brady v. Belichick thing, like, here in more recent times, it's been like, Brady.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but even like Brady hasn't been the squeakiest, sort of thing. So I just like that is one of the most ridiculous
That's a good one.
Things out there. All right, that's your cream of the crop, bottom of the barrel. Let's do our 8. I'm going to be flying through this because I want to do our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle so we can get to some NFL predictions and such. So, pump the brakes, full throttle after what you saw from North Carolina. They will be bowl eligible when it's all said and done.
I might pump the brakes.
Yeah.
ACC is kind of a crazy conference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't good. Like, this isn't the TCU team that made the national title game a couple years ago.
No.
Like, this is bad.
This is really bad.
Like, that's a bad time to lay an egg.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, I agree with you. I agree. And if Belichick again had any hope of going back to that's gone. It'll be gone. If I'm a team, why would I want to hire him?
Right.
Why would I want to hire him after all this other stuff that's going on?
Anyone that's going to want to is going to be very desperate, and maybe not a position that even Bill would want to go to.
Right.
Like, I'm sure like the Browns would be like, hey, what do you say, Bill Belichick? But
yeah, even the Giants right now, like I feel like if the Giants picked up the phone and said, Bill, would you come? Bill would jump there in a heartbeat because he like has a special
there's a
place.
connection there.
But why would you do that if you're the Giants right now?
Right.
No. Let's go pump the brakes, full throttle. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Saw some stupid meme about pop-up. That's why I got to get rid of the computer when I'm in here. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Thanasis re-signing with the Bucks instantly means Giannis will play. Although I love Sham's little last. Did you see how he phrased his last one?
This is like another thing where he kind of has to have the modifier in there?
Let me see if I can bring it up so I can get it, but I'll let you answer first. It's full throttle, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking that anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I realized they made the Dame Lillard trade like near the end of August or September, but that's a rare occasion. No, Giannis is. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it here quickly because it was like the one line at the end. It was like, dude, really? Just give it up. Yeah, Thanasis is signing a guaranteed 1-year, $2.9 million deal to return to the Bucks, sources tell ESPN. Thanasis played for the Bucks from 19 to 24. This also means after a summer of exploring options, Giannis is staying in Milwaukee to start the season. Those last 4 words, to start the season.
Oh, Shams.
Give it up, dude. Give it a up.
When you're in a hole, the first thing you do is stop digging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Sticking with the NBA, the 2026 NBA All-Star Game format is likely to feature a round-robin tournament consisting of 3 8-player squads of 2 USA teams and 1 world team. Pump the brakes, full throttle. This is going to be awesome to watch.
I'm going to pump the brakes on awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see what it looks like. I think you just need to figure out, though, how do you get the players to care?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the Four Nations Cup for hockey has been kind of like the thing that everyone wants to replicate. But the big difference is those players cared.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had players getting hurt.
Yeah.
Because of it. They were playing for, their Four Nations, obviously, that were being represented. Like, are players going to care now? I mean, there's 2 USA teams, so it's kind of not the same thing, but to me, that's the thing.
Yep.
Will these NBA players care? If they do, then I think it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to be content to just, not play any defense and, chuck up just threes at will, well, then you're probably going to have a similar bout.
I agree. I'm going to pump the brakes on this because I like the idea. I don't know if I trust the players to actually embrace it.
Right.
It
doesn't matter what idea you have if the players are not interested in going hard.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Caleb DeBoer will last the full season at Alabama.
I'm going to say full throttle.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, another one that's not a good look.
Can you imagine if Wisconsin somehow beats them?
On the one hand, I would feel kind of bummed because I'm like, that's supposed to be their signature win, and they're ruining it by having it not matter as much.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, look, if Wisconsin somehow beat Alabama next weekend, that's a signature win. I don't care what they're doing. That's a signature win for Luke Fickell. But we'll get to that, obviously, when that time comes. But not good.
No.
Not good.
No. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Everybody's making too big of a deal of Arch Manning's performance last weekend.
Probably. But, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. And, I forget who said it, but I'll bring up the point. It's Arch Manning's not the one that hyped himself up.
Bingo.
Yeah. It's everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Arch Manning's not going out there and saying,
look at me, I'm Arch Manning, I'm the future, I'm the next generation of Mannings, I'm this, I'm that. No.
Right. Yep.
He's kept a relatively low profile.
Mm-hmm. And I give it a little bit I thought it got overblown. Remember, this is the first road start. It's Ohio State.
Right. The defending national champion.
Right. It's not
again, he did not look good at all.
No.
But that was a defensive slugfest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I say full throttle. Yes, it's getting to be made too much hype or too much coming down hard on Arch Manning.
He's a boss. He's this. He's that.
Yeah. No. I was like, okay, let's chill. Staying with college football, pump the brakes, full throttle. Florida State's way better than what everybody thought.
I'm gonna go full throttle. Now, way better, relatively speaking, but they had an awful year last year, so they could still win 7 or 8 games and be way better than probably a lot of people thought.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pump the brakes yet. I'm just gonna. I need cool against Alabama, but let's pump the brakes here. So, how about we'll do one more here. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Can we please get rid of preseason polls?
Yeah, full throttle. I'm a believer that you should wait a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. I do. I mean,
because so much of our opinions are changed by that. They're altered by that because we see the example I use, the year the Badgers beat LSU at Lambeau, that was a top 5 LSU team at the start of the year, but they went 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't as good of a team as we thought. That was reputation.
Right.
I'm fine with giving a few weeks, even just 2.
Mm-hmm.
Vote after this week.
Right.
3 weeks if you're counting week 0, but vote after this week
mm-hmm.
and then see.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I think preseason polls, because I think if you take away 1 and 3 from Texas and Ohio State, those rankings, we know that's still a good matchup.
That's still, yeah.
We know that's a premier matchup right away. We know LSU and Clemson's probably going to be a good matchup. Like, we know, but you have these numbers, and I think for a lot of people that's like, oh, gotta knock them down a lot, and like it's not that much of a deal anymore. But like before the college football playoff, it could derail a team's like if Wisconsin. It always bugged me about college football. Wisconsin would have a great year, but one loss to a really good Ohio State team, they're done. It's over. They can't go anywhere, and compete for that. It's changed obviously now, but there's still that effect, I think, on voters when it comes to that stuff. So. All right, let's take a quick break. Announcement time, and then football picks. We'll do some football picks, predictions, season predictions coming up here. Super Bowl, division, MVP, all that good stuff. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. When it comes to your home, nothing changes the look and feel quite like new flooring. And we can tell you from experience that when you need quality service and a team that you could trust, head on over to Carpet City Flooring Center right here in Eau Claire. They've got it all: carpet, luxury vinyl planks, tile, you name it. It's not just about the huge selection. It's the way their team takes the time to listen to help you find the perfect fit for your style, your needs, and your budget. From the moment you walk on in, you'll feel at ease. And when it's time for installation, their professionals handle it with care, precision, and respect for your home. So if you've been thinking about updating your floors, hey, now's the time. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and see for yourself why they are the place people trust for flooring done right. All right. So before we get to our NFL predictions, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do Super Bowl champ. We're gonna do division champ.
Wild card.
Playoff pictures.
Yeah, playoff pictures.
MVP.
Yeah.
Offense player of the year.
We can.
Defense player of the year.
I'll pick whatever you want me to pick.
Coach of the year.
Sure.
Okay. We can do that.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah. Mine will probably be different than when I did it with Hudson, but that's fine. I can do whatever I want. So
you're a grown up.
I'm a grown up. I'm almost a man. I'm almost 40. So are you?
Next month.
We're gonna be playing that nonstop when you're on. So
did you see the Mike Gundy commercial?
I did
For
not.
Consumer Cellular.
I did not.
They basically spoofed that.
Why not?
I chuckled.
It's funny when we talk about, but it becomes less funny
when you become it.
When you become it. Yes. So, all right. Before pick time, so announcements starting on Monday. Got some programming changes to let all of you know. So, starting Monday, this station will no longer be carrying the Dan Patrick Show. Instead, you're going to be more Wisconsin-centric because starting at 10 o'clock, it'll be the Bill Michaels Show, picking up the first hour of Bill Michaels. And from 9 to 10, you're going to get another hour of us. So our program will be from 6 to 10 instead of 6 to 9. And from 10 to 2, it'll be the full Bill Michaels program. So still Doug Gottlieb in the afternoon, and then the Wisco Sports Show picking up at 4. So essentially from 6A to 6P, you can say it's all Wisconsin since Doug Gottlieb
he is posted up in Green Bay.
He's posted up in Green Bay, being the UW Green Bay men's basketball coach. So still Brewers games, still Bucks games, and all that stuff too. So, but that'll be starting on Monday. So, yeah, we'll be.
I'm sure you guys will have plenty to talk about on Monday.
I hope it's good stuff on Monday. So, but it'll be kind of one of the plans we got for like that final hour, kind of a little happy hour theme. Plan on more guests because, and I get it, you kind of live it too. But whenever we ask people to come on, they're like, it's a little too early, because they're up late covering games and such. So this will help that. But be more flexible too, because Brandon's going to be a little bit more flexible. He's probably going to sleep in sometimes too, and such. But
I'll still be here. I'm not going anywhere.
He ain't going anywhere. But there'll be some other kind of changes that you will notice next week during the program and such. But it'll allow us to have more people join us and such.
Yeah.
So, but there you go. That's what it is.
Opportunity.
Exactly. So, that's the announcement. All right. Should we do some NFL picks?
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's leave the Super Bowl one for last, since that's kind of the main one that everybody has, right? So let's start off with playoff teams. Should we do that?
Sure.
Let's do playoffs, and we'll do individual awards, then we'll do the Super Bowl. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so let's start off with the AFC. Who are your 1 through 7?
Oh boy, I didn't know you were doing
teams.
it this way.
Well, you got it, right?
Well, I thought you were just gonna do like champion, AFC North, South,
and then your wild cards.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I thought you were telling me to seed them.
You wanted to, but no, I meant like your division champs, and then your wild card team.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we starting?
Go with the AFC. Let's go west to east. So AFC West.
West. I mean, I'm gonna start with an easy one here. I'm gonna say Chiefs.
Not going on the whole Broncos
Or
popular
Chargers,
pick or
no,
Chargers or
no.
anything like that. So I'm
No.
going to go with the Chiefs too.
No.
I'm playing it a little bit safe, but it's hard to not go with the Chiefs until somebody essentially knocks them off.
Right. I'd
So,
rather be a year late than a year early.
yeah. Let's do the AFC South.
AFC South. I'm gonna go Jaguars.
You're a Liam Cohen believer.
I am actually.
Duval.
Yeah, hopefully you get a little more practice at that. But I do think that Liam Cohen is going to open up that offense a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Texans are a very good team, but I wonder about their O-line.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they made the move in the offseason. Laramie
They traded Laramie
gone.
Tunsil to Washington. Like, I just, you got to protect CJ Stroud, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm still going to go Texans, but I agree with all of your points. This division, Colts, no. There's just nothing there. With Tennessee's not yet. I don't really believe in Tennessee. Jaguars, I could definitely see it. I'm very curious though to how they use Travis Hunter. That's the only thing I'm like, how are they going to be able to use him? So again, maybe I'm a little bit of I like D'Amico Ryans a lot. So that's where I'm going to go with the Texans here, but it's going to be an ugly division, I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
AFC North.
AFC North. I am going to go with the Ravens.
I am going to do with the Ravens as well. I'm going to go with the Ravens. So I think that's it. It's a good division. So, but yeah, I'm going to go that route. So let's do AFC East.
I'm going to go Bills.
I am going to go with the Bills too. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. So that's kind of pretty easy.
Pretty standard,
over
yeah.
there. So yeah. Let's do the NFC. I'm sorry, you got to do the wild cards. Yeah. So go with your top three.
I'm going to go Bengals. I think they win a bunch of shootouts because I still don't know about that defense. I'm going to go Chargers.
Okay.
And so this one's a little tough because there's one I'm not going to pick, I know, but they would probably slide in there just because there's always some turnover with this. And I'm going to go Texans.
Okay, yeah. I am going to go with the Broncos, with the Jaguars, and I am going to go Chargers. So those are my AFC teams. So, all right, what else? Let's do the NFC now. Let's do NFC West. What are your predictions?
NFC West. This one I thought about a little bit too much, but I'm going to go. I'm not going to go too far. I'm going to go Rams.
I am going to go with. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams too. So Rams in the NFC West. Let's go NFC South.
This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to go with the Panthers.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Carolina Panthers.
You're a Bryce Young believer.
I liked what he showed the second half of last year. I think they got a good young receiver core, even with the Jalen Coker injury. I think that defense head in the right direction. I think this is a winnable division for them. I'm going to go Panthers.
I am going to go with the Buccaneers for the NFC South. Let's save the NFC North here. NFC West then.
East,
sorry. Yep.
East.
Yes.
I'm going to go Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the repeats don't happen very often in that division, but I think Philly is still a very good team. I'm going to take Philly.
I am going to go with Philly as well. Let's go then with the North. Who do you got?
It's got a lot tougher than if you'd asked me 9 days ago.
Yeah.
This is definitely the toughest one for me. Because to me, there's three choices. And to me, those three choices now are 1A, 1B, 1C. I hate to say it. I'm going to go Minnesota. Because I don't think it's Detroit. I just think they're maybe due for a little bit of a step back. But But as you'll see with my wild card, I do think all three of these teams are playoff teams
Mm-hmm.
and very good playoff teams. And I'm totally going to jinx myself and thus my team this year, but that team's already jinxed, so I can't really jinx them anymore, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So I am actually going to go with the Vikings.
Mm-hmm. I am going to go Packers because why not? I'm gonna play Homer ball on that. So yep. I'm gonna go with the pack. So let's do wild card teams then for the
Wild
NFC.
Well, I mentioned I'm gonna go Packers, Lions. Those are two of the other ones.
Yep.
And the third one, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Rams.
Okay. I'm gonna go Commanders, Vikings, and Lions as my wild card teams. So, all right, let's do some individual before we get to our Super Bowl picks. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do offensive rookie of the year.
Oh, offensive rookie of the year.
Yep.
I am gonna go Travis Hunter.
Is it possible Travis Hunter could do defense and offense?
I think it's possible, but I don't know how
I
much.
think-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds like more offense than defense.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go Travis Hunter.
I could have gone like Cam Ward or Ashton Genty in that, but I'm going to go Travis Hunter too.
Yeah.
I just think, especially when the depth chart came out and he was a number one wide receiver, and second backup cornerback or anything like that. Yeah, I'm going to go Travis Hunter.
Mhm.
So, defensive rookie of the year.
I'm gonna go Abdul Carter.
That's
For
where
the
I'm
Giants.
at too. Yep, that's where I'm at too. So, Abdul Carter.
I don't know if ultimately that's going to be good enough to save Brian Dable's job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Abdul Carter has a good year for the Giants.
Let's do coach of the year.
Coach of the year. I am going to go Dave Canales from the Panthers. Obviously, kind of pairing up
Mm-hmm. With your playoff pick.
with my playoff pick with the Panthers. So I'm going to go Dave Canales.
I guess based off of how my picks are going to go, I'm going to have to go Liam Cohen then from the Jaguars. Because when I look at it for my picks, it's a lot of teams you expect, maybe outside of the Jaguars. Although, I mean, maybe one team, if they do win the division, Sean Payton could get some votes for the Broncos if that hype train goes up. So
I realized that unless I wrote it down wrong, I think I picked the Rams twice.
Did you?
So my other
Okay.
playoff team, I'm going to go Seahawks.
Okay.
I think it was that way in my head, but I realized I picked them for both the division and the wild card.
Got it. Okay.
Sean McVay's a good
missed
coach,
that
but he's
too.
not that good.
Yeah.
So I'll go Seahawks as
Got
my
it.
other one.
Got it. How about offensive player of the year?
Offensive player of the year. Now, this is one that if you're good and you're not a quarterback, you can get. I'm going to go Jamar Chase.
Yeah. Honestly, that's who I had to it, and that's who I picked when Hudson and I did this. So I think I'm going to stay with that because I'll just kind of tip my pick. I thought about Joe Burrow for MVP, but the Bengals in my picks aren't going to make the playoffs. So
you have to make the playoff.
Yeah. So I guess on that hand, Joe Burrow could be offensive player of the year at that same point, but I went with Jamar Chase, so I'll stay with Jamar Chase. Defensive player of the year. So Patrick Surtain, I think people kind of forget it won it last year, but you think about guys with sacks leading that. So who you got?
Put me on the spot here, but I should have known. I am going to go Myles Garrett. Even though I don't think the Browns are going to be any good. I think he's going to be so good that you kind of have to vote for him.
Yeah. Myles Garrett, I think I picked him the last couple of years, and I think I need to change it up. So I'm going to go TJ Watt for this year too. So MVP.
Well, you kind of spoiled it though a little bit. I'm going to go Joe Burrow.
Okay.
I think he does enough to get them in the playoffs, and that defense is not good, but he does so much that people say if Joe Burrow was not in Cincinnati, they would be like 5-12. So I'm going to go Joe Burrow.
I am going to go, and this I'm changing it up a little bit. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts for MVP. So
he gets that recognition.
Yeah. I don't want to go the Mahomes route or the Lamar Jackson or even Josh Allen. I'm trying to change it up a little bit. So, all right, Super Bowl pick.
Superb Owl. And I always try to stay away from the obvious ones in this. I'm not going Chiefs, Eagles, even if that's what it ends up being again, just
Yeah.
because I want to try to do something
yeah.
a little different.
Yep.
I'm going to go Ravens, Rams.
That's funny. I almost went with that one too. Like that's really funny. I'm gonna play Homer, Ravens, Packers. Then I'll stay with what I did.
Okay.
Just because. Yep. I'm like you. I don't want to do Eagles. I don't want to do Chiefs. I don't want to do Eagles and Bills and.
If I get it
all
wrong,
that.
I'd rather have it be wrong because it was the obvious one. Because if it's
Yes.
not quite so obvious, even though I think in both our cases that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Mhm.
But if you hit that pick,
Mm-hmm.
it's like going betting on the horses and you bet on a horse that's 15-1 instead of the horse that's 8-5.
Mm-hmm.
If I get the pick right, I'd rather get the pick right because it was a little bit tougher of a pick.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So, all right, those are your or our, I should say, picks for the season.
Yeah.
That will probably all be
Oh, it'll be
wrong.
terrible. Like I'm excited to go back and look at this
Mm-hmm.
and just see how terrible it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So before we take a quick break and make some more picks baseball wise, and we're going to go through every single NFL game and some college games for our picks. I appreciate the texts from both sides of the aisle. People excited for the change. People who are not. What I don't appreciate, I will say this to you people: grow up. You don't need to personally attack me on this.
Right.
If you have an issue, you can go to the decision makers for this.
Right.
But for you people, literally with words I can't say coming at me, you need to grow up.
Right.
Is what I will respond to you. Okay. That I don't appreciate. Go ahead and you can go to the decision makers for this one. So to the others who said appreciate the good luck and all that stuff, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the proper responses and the polite responses to that. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap it up with some picks coming up after these quick words. Got a few texts to catch up on that are appropriate to read on the air here. Eli earlier said Packers 34, Lions 28. Also, there's a couple more, a lot of Packer picks for this game for the Lions. Do have a couple picks for the Lions going up against the Packers. Joe has the Lions defeating the Packers. We've got different Brandon, not you, Brandon. Different Brandon picking the Lions over the Packers, but in a close one. Otherwise, Mike, Chris, Ryan, Kyle, everybody's going with the Pack. John also going with the Packers here too. Trent, and I think just kind of froze up there too. So, but John also picked the Packers to go over the Lions. So let's do our picks, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's do it up here. Do you want to start with college football or baseball? I'll let you decide. What would you like to do first, Brandon?
Baseball.
You want to do baseball first? Let's do baseball first then. I agree with you. We'll keep the Brewers, and this is again for the series. I know some kind of already started in that, but we'll do the series here. Let's start off Washington taking on the Cubbies. I think we know who we want to win.
Yeah.
But
I'm
who
gonna
is
take
actually going
Cubs.
to win? I'm going to take the Cubs too. So White Sox taking on the Tigers.
Tigers.
Brewers taking on the Pirates.
I'm going to go the Brewers. 2 or 3. I think they.
Mm-hmm. They
Right.
avoid Paul Skeens, but maybe that's. I mean, Brewers
they've had
have
some success against
yeah,
them,
that's
so
the
maybe
thing,
not.
too,
But yeah,
so.
I'll also take Brewers 2 or 3.
I'm going to take the Brewers as well. So I did say we are going to take that one last, but I'm going down in order.
we'll
So
go.
whatever.
Hustle in.
Thank you, Travis. Let's go with the Mets and Reds.
I'm going Reds.
Ooh, really?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go Mets, though.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Mets. How about Dodgers and Orioles?
Dodgers have not been doing well lately, but I'm going to go take the Dodgers still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to overthink this one. I'm going to go with the Dodgers, too. Toronto and the Yankees. That could be a spicy one.
Good. I'm going to go Blue Jays.
I'll go Blue Jays, too. So, let's do Philadelphia and Miami.
Philly.
Yeah, Philly. Let's do Seattle and Atlanta.
Seattle.
Cleveland, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Griffin Jacks is getting the start today. So, former Oakland Express dude. Minnesota and Kansas City.
I'm going to go Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Royals. Let's go Houston and Texas.
Houston.
I'm going to go Houston. San Francisco and St. Louis.
St. Louis.
I'm going to go San Francisco. San Diego and Colorado.
San Diego.
I'll go with the Padres of San Diego. Athletics and Angels.
Angels.
I'll go Athletics. And then how about Boston and Arizona?
Boston.
Yeah, I'm going to go Boston too. So, you want to do some college football
Sure.
picks now? Let's do, this is actually, they're ranked, but you look at the line and it's close. How about Illinois at Duke? Illinois is only favored by 2.5 in this game.
I'm going to take Illinois, though.
I am going to take Illinois too. So let's do, just scrolling on down here. How about Baylor at SMU? SMU is ranked 17, but only favored by 2.5.
A good old Southwest Conference matchup there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go SMU, though.
I'll go SMU. How about Iowa at Iowa State? Iowa State is favored by 3.5.
The Battle of Iowa. I am going to go with Iowa State.
I'm going to go Iowa State as well. Yep. Let's do, how about, I love some of the games that don't have lines, like Grambling and Ohio State that don't have lines listed right there. How about, let's do Ole Miss at Kentucky. Ole Miss is favored by 8.5.
I'm going to go Ole Miss.
Do they cover?
Yes.
I agree. Let's go then. How about, I'm just kind of looking at some good lines here. Fresno State at Oregon State. Oregon State's favored by 2.5.
I'm going to go Fresno State.
I'll go Oregon State. I'll stay with them. How about West Virginia at Ohio? West Virginia's favored by 3.5.
I'm going to go West Virginia.
I'll go with the Mountaineers. Shout out. Owen
Owen Schmidt.
Owen Schmidt. Thank you. I couldn't think of the last name. So, along. And Pat McAfee. Let's do South Carolina State versus South Carolina.
Ooh. South Carolina, though.
Yeah, South Carolina. Definitely. Michigan at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored by 5.5.
Ooh. I'm going to go Michigan.
I'm going to go Oklahoma for this one. I think that's about it. And then let's do Wisconsin, Middle Tennessee, assuming that we both pick them, but do they cover the line?
What's the line?
The line is, I just had it. It's up there. What?
I was going to say, I know it's pretty significant, right?
28.5.
They do not cover.
Yeah,
I'm going to say it's like a 35 or 34-14, something like that. I think the offense, knowing that Danny O'Neal's the guy this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say 34-14 Wisconsin.
I'll go like 27-10 or 27. Like, I just feel like there's gonna be a lot of running the football, time of possession, that sort of stuff. So, all right, NFL picks. Did you do the pick 'em?
I did.
Okay. But I'm going to use the schedule that I've got on the mothership here because I already have it loaded. So I had Eagles last night. I don't know if you had
same.
any. Okay.
Same.
So how about tonight? Kansas City versus the Chargers of Los Angeles in Brazil.
I will take Kansas City.
Yep, I got Kansas City too. Tampa Bay, Atlanta.
I will take Atlanta.
I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. Let's go Bengals, Browns. Bengals. Dolphins, Colts.
Dolphins.
Colts are favored in this one, though. 1.5. Raiders, Patriots.
I'm going to go Raiders.
I'm going Raiders, too. Patriots favored by 2.5. I've seen some people high on the Patriots this year, too. So, I mean, Mike Vrabel, I think, is...
the Vrabel effect, yeah.
Drake May during his second year and that, but...
I think the Patriots may be still a year away.
Yeah. I like Pete Carroll with the Raiders. I think you're going to see a little bit of a flashback from those Seahawk days on the offensive side. Arizona and New Orleans.
I'm going to go Arizona.
I'm going to Arizona too, and I really need it. So Hudson and I now are doing bets, and we have to pick a game for each other that if we get it wrong, we get slimed.
You get slimed?
Yeah.
Nice.
He picked the Saints to win this one, so I'm like, that's the game I'm picking.
Ooh.
So if Arizona wins, Hudson gets slimed. But I'll tell you the one that he picked when we get to it too. The battle of Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields going at their former teams. Pittsburgh and the Jets.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
I am taking the Steelers too. Giants and Commanders. I'm going to go with Washington. I was a little surprised you didn't pick them in the postseason.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a numbers
every
game.
year. Well, I'm just saying, every year there's a couple teams.
Mm-hmm. Washington surprised a lot of people last year. So, yep. Carolina and Jacksonville.
I am going to take Carolina.
Dang. I'm going Jack. That threw me for a loop, but you picked. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go Jacksonville. So, Tennessee and Denver.
Denver.
San Francisco and Seattle.
San Francisco.
It makes me nervous about Christian McCaffrey a little bit.
It does.
But I'm still going to go San Francisco. Houston versus the Rams. Baltimore and Buffalo. I'm going Baltimore. This is the game Hudson picked for me if I get wrong. So if Buffalo wins,
wow.
I know. I'm like,
wow,
dude, really? Come on. Minnesota at Chicago.
I will take Minnesota.
I'm going Minnesota too. And then Detroit at Green Bay. Right now the line is 1.5 Green Bay.
I'm going to take Green Bay.
Okay. I'm going to go Green Bay too. Although I am a little nervous. I mean, I'm always going to be nervous.
Yeah, right.
But I could easily see the Lions kind of just coming in and being like, all the hype's around Green Bay. Micah Parsons comments.
Nobody thinks anything of us.
Yeah. Dan Campbell's preaching that, right? You know he's doing that. So, yeah. But I'll go Green Bay with this one. Energy, enthusiasm. Everybody for Green Bay practiced yesterday, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that means everybody will be available. So, John says, hey, Dan, change is good. Disappointed DP's leaving, but I'm excited that you get an extra hour. We get an extra hour of Bill. To all the haters, forget about them. Keep up the awesome work. Thanks, John. Andy says, Handy Andy here. Congrats on the news you shared. Can't wait for more Wisconsin sports talk. All the haters are probably Cowboys fans. And keep kicking arse. Thanks for that. So, appreciate that. But I get it. A lot of you probably, some of them are disappointed too. But again, send those elsewhere. You don't need to come at me with personal attacks, guys. Come on now. That's a little ridiculous. So, anyways, let's wrap up things here this morning. What game are you going to be at tonight, Brandon?
I will be in Cumberland for Bloomer and Cumberland.
You're going to be maybe running into our good friends, Bloomer Tony, maybe catching a football game over there.
I've already seen some listeners out there and doing the officiating. So
speaking of Bloomer, because they got some good cross country track and field, right?
Yeah,
they still primed for this year.
They opened up the season earlier this week in Bruce. They've got some big events coming up. Remember, this year the girls team will be running D1, so they'll be running in the postseason. So they'll have a couple events here coming up where they will actually be competing against D1 teams to kind of maybe get a lay of the land a little bit there. But on the boys' side, they've got some talented runners too. So that's a Bloomer team that I think in the Clover Belt and beyond is going to obviously have some pretty big expectations, but they have the talent to follow it up.
Do they have a lot of the returners from last year and such?
Yes, the girls team does return a lot. The boys team has a few as well. So,
okay, yeah, because they've been such a good program over the last couple of years.
Two-time state runner-ups in Division II the last 2 years.
Yeah. So, so you'll be over there. Anything over the weekend? Kind of, maybe not just for you, but anything local wise? I know Regis is in action tomorrow, as we heard from Dr. Crow. So they're going to be at Carson Park.
Yeah. Early morning, they got a morning game with Osseo that said to open up Clover Belt play there. So,
So, I know again, got UW Stout that's going to be in action for football to kick off their season. Going to be taking on the University of Dubuque. That is going to be a Menominee. And Blue Gold's got off to a good start last night for football, taking down Carroll College 29-7. So that was could hear the bands playing when we were practicing for our football team. So you can tell that's when football season. You can hear the Blue Gold Marching Band over at Carson Park. So, but good showing for the Blue Goals to start off 1-0. And I know everything's now in full swing for the fall sports season for local colleges and, even high school too. So, but should be a little football weather. It kind of sounds like
it does.
For today and tomorrow.
It is going to be some football weather here.
I know Memorial is going to be at home taking on Spash. That should be that'll be a tough one. Spash has got a good team, right?
Spash is very good. I mean, they defeated Chippewa Falls in the opener. I think they took care of Superior last week. So, they're a tough team to reckon with. Meanwhile, you got Eau Claire North making the trip to Wausau West.
Yep. Wausau West. I was trying to find what their record has been so far. 1-1, it looks like overall. So, who did they beat?
I think Superior.
Was it Superior? Yeah. They beat Superior, lost to Hudson. So now they got Eau Claire North coming up here. So, all right. Shot clock's going to be cutting us down here, but hopefully it's a Victory Monday. That we'll have a little Victory Monday, so I can bust out the Victory Monday T-shirts that I have yet to. I think I wore it once. I think it might have been for a Brewer thing or something like that. I don't remember, but I don't know. It still doesn't feel like football, and I think it's probably just because the Brewers have been so flipping awesome. So you could catch their game 5:40 first pitch. Check it out on the radio dials 105.1 FM, 790 AM. We got Quinn Priester on the mound tonight.
Yes.
So Quinn Priester, Miz going this weekend.
I believe it's I think it's Miz Sunday.
Miz Sunday. Okay. And then they've got Texas after that.
Yes.
So just a couple more weeks left to go.
Only 2 road trips left and only 2 homestands left.
When you put it that way.
Yeah. A week on, a week off, a week on, and then 3 at home against Cincinnati, and that's it. So,
Yep. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. Same place, same time tomorrow morning, or Monday morning, excuse me, not Saturday, Monday morning. Enjoy all of the football action and baseball. Talk to you Monday.